I, Gail Weiss, Chair of the Finance Committee, call the FinCom meeting to order. Today's February 2nd, and it's 6:02 p.m. Gail Weiss present.
Dan Campbell present.
Bernie Parada present.
Morgan O'Brien present.
Lindsay McCarthy present.
Robin Vandermatt present.
Okay, first up.
These should go up and declare them.
Yeah. First up,
Well, no, we're
He
just
has
gonna.
to open.
oh, I'm
They have to
sorry.
call their group
Yeah.
to
We
order.
talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the select board meeting to order at 6:03. And I'm present, Bernie Boudreau and David McCarthy. You're
Dan
acting as
Campbell.
FinCom.
At FinCom, yeah.
Okay, well, or, okay,
Okay. So would the school like to
great.
come up?
Does everybody have a copy of version 3.0 of the budget?
Yep.
Yes.
Just got it. What, no, yes?
What, from
Lindsay, you have a
128?
paper one? We have a paper one.
Yeah.
Anybody here need a paper? I've got one, and I brought the extras from,
Great, thank you, Ms.
last
Lindsay.
week.
And then, yes, please, and then we've got printed copies of answers to the questions you kindly shared at the end of last week. And we've sent this electronically to Andrea so that she can share it with you electronically, because there are so many links that you may want to click on.
Okay. Okay, if you don't mind, please introduce yourselves.
Sure. Do you want to start, Drew?
You want me?
Oh, yes. Melissa Gary, School Committee Chair.
Taffy Bassett-Fox, Director of Finance and Operations.
And Patricia Kinsella, Superintendent and Northfield resident.
Okay, just start off with question 1, which is there a reduction in federal grants due to the current political climate? If so, how is the school handling the shortfall?
Okay, so before we begin, I just want to thank you
Yeah.
for allowing us to come before you. A couple things to kind of keep in mind as we go through these questions is administration has been working diligently and all through the weekend, that you will be seeing another budget rendition at our budget hearing. So budget 3.0 that you have in front of you is also going to have a lot of changes to, or not a lot, but there's going to be some substantial changes to that also. So as we go through this, budget, this is just a draft, and this has always been a draft, and though there's going to be sections that will be presented to the school committee for budget, what we're gonna call kind of 4.0 for the budget hearing. So to give you some background there, to kind of set some expectations, that's where we're at.
Melissa, is that then at that meeting when you actually vote for the budget?
No.
Okay, so that's
No.
not the vote yet?
No.
That's just another budget.
So, yep,
rendition.
so the budget hearing is a public hearing. It's basically as our budget subcommittee meetings have been working. If you have ever been to one of our budget subcommittee meetings, there's a lot of non-subcommittee members that participate in that meeting.
Right.
And so that is what a hearing, it's going to be on a much larger scale in the Kiva at Pioneer. There'll be, I'm sure we'll have a sign, you'll enter into the left, go into the left, for the meeting on Thursday evening.
This Thursday?
Yes.
This Thursday.
Thursday?
This Thursday.
This Thursday, 6 o'clock.
And that will be also version 4.0. 4.0.
Yep.
So as you go through this, would you mind if there's any changes, kind of giving us a,
So some we can, but we haven't even
Okay.
shared this with the subcommittee
Okay.
yet.
Yeah.
So to put,
We can't share.
we,
That
it-
would be-
yeah,
Okay.
that's just not fair.
Okay, okay,
So,
that's fine.
And Gail,
Yeah.
to that point, if I may, So we focused our efforts in preparing for tonight, again, on
Okay.
providing answers to your questions. We did not prepare a full budget presentation the way we do at the budget subcommittee meetings, because most of you have been at least, and some of you, multiple meetings. So we didn't bring our slide deck.
Okay.
We're focused on answering the questions you sent.
And
Okay.
Bernardston did give us something similar, and it took us over an hour to go through all of this. And I know that you have other appointments tonight, so we can go through it right in order if you want, or if you know like there's really pressing questions you want to move up, it's fine. We can defer. We have all the numbers.
Does anybody have any pressing questions they want answered first, or just go in order?
I think, I love that you guys just looked at me. I do ask a lot of questions. I printed off just the list of questions that was sent. But I do appreciate this as well, because I like a question and answer together for sure. And I see for us that we've put building at the last part. I know that's kind of been a hot and spicy priority for us in our continuing conversation. So I just want to make sure that we have time to have like
Let's
a
start.
robust
let's start
conversation
with
about buildings.
building. If there's only two and nobody objects.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to thank the three of you for coming. It means a lot to
pleasure.
us, but
Our
thank you.
pleasure.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you want to guys go with the buildings first?
Yeah, looking at the section, I realize
Okay.
I'm a little biased
So-
on that.
First one, has there been any progress in conversations around an athletics capital plan or planned spending for replacement of equipment?
So we have had discussions around that, and once we have the plan finalized, we will share that for public view.
Okay, and what is encompassed in the maintenance of building line item for each building? This is basically PVRS and Northfield Elementary for maintenance of grounds for each building, and plus the maintenance of the grounds.
So this is, what you have here is an outline, a summary of what is included in these lines. So it's to be expected, like we have inspections in here, HVAC maintenance under maintenance of buildings. We have some technology-related subscriptions, like we have our card access. Our work order system for needing repairs in-house is online. And at Pioneer, we have wastewater monitoring, septic pumping, and bleacher maintenance. So those just are some examples of what's covered in that line. Do you have any questions?
Morgan, are you all set with the buildings?
I am curious to know what the current process is, if any, for conversations between the buildings and the towns when these routine inspections happen, like if there's any conversation or collaboration.
So Gretchen Licata, who is our Director of Finance, I know is in contact with towns when it is something larger than just, we need something cleaned or whatnot, if it's gonna be a larger item.
Okay.
I know she's really collaborative with towns, so, yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, let me,
I'm
one
sorry.
second, let me get to the second part, I
Sure.
don't wanna
Okay.
miss that. So maintenance of grounds, again, mowing, snow plowing, street sweeping, and please know that any of our like outside mowing and all that is all outsourced. We don't do any of that in-house, so a lot of the money falls under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Just one question on the maintenance of buildings. It says including but not limited to, so I get that. But do you have the sewer charge included in that as well? For the elementary schools?
In the maintenance of buildings?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know you have wastewater monitoring.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
where it would be.
okay.
Because I know that's a chunk of change.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You want to jump back up to one?
Do we want to go back to one, or has anybody got anything with the buildings anymore? Okay. Okay, so is there, number one, is there a reduction in federal grants due to the current political
I'll fill
climate?
this one.
Okay,
I'm gonna jump down to the bottom part of that answer. in the 2024 federal election season, we reached out to Glenn Kuchar. Glenn Kuchar is the executive director of the Mass Association of School Committees. He's been the executive director for maybe 25 years. He worked in finance before that. I think he worked in healthcare finance before that. And we sent him a series of questions, and you have a link there to it, saying,
Okay.
so what might happen to federal funding for education with the new administration? And this is an apolitical question. This is not about who's, it's just what could happen. Mr. Kuchar's, for me, some of the most important part of his response dealt with federal entitlement grants. And there's a link in here to a page in our FY26 budget book that has a very brief but helpful explanation of what an entitlement grant is and what each of our federal entitlement grants are and how much we get for them. The federal government, so he was prescient. He said, you know, the federal government could try to dismantle or do away with the Federal Department of Education. And that is effectively what is, you know, efforts have been made in that direction. The federal government could change its funding mechanism. Instead of giving entitlement grants to the states for disbursement to LEAs, which are local education authorities, the federal government could switch things up and do a block grant and say to the states, here's a heck of a lot of money, you figure out what to do with it. So before diving into our answer, which is not a huge answer, it's important to know that we still don't know what might happen with the federal entitlement grants. If it's switched to a block grant, then a whole lot of responsibility goes to the state Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to figure out how they would disperse those funds. So we don't have our numbers yet for our FY27 entitlement grants. Entitlement grants are exactly what they sound like. We don't have to compete for them. We
Okay.
get an amount based strictly on a formula related to enrollment and the types of students enrolled. Our largest federal entitlement grant is for special education. We have a large one for early education, which is related to special education. We have Title I, Title IIA, Title IV, which are smaller grants. So we don't know our exact numbers for next year. We'll find that out in September. We're estimating our FY27 amounts based on last year's disbursements and our actual spending.
Okay, and that's because I know the federal fiscal year starts October 1, so you guys won't
We don't
even
know.
know.
We won't know.
You don't know,
Could I
okay.
ask you, since we have a version of the budget in front of us, you called out Title I, Title II, and Title IV. The other ones that would fall under that entitlement grant, you mentioned a special ed one. I assume it's listed on here. Is that IDEA? Is
So the
that
best-
early ed?
It's 240, 262, so a good place to look for that. and let's
Okay,
see if I have a
240.
copy in here, is in the budget book. Oh, I didn't bring my budget book, darn it.
You didn't bring a budget.
I didn't bring my
It was
budget book.
240.
It's
There are
240.
a number of links in this document when you get it electronically to last year's budget book. We'll produce a budget book for Thursday night, and that includes amounts for each of the grants and what it's used for.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great, just so I can kind of,
Yep.
like, I recognize that these are all grants, but to know which ones are federal
Yeah.
versus.
State.
All of the entitlement grants are federal.
But which
Yes,
ones
yeah,
are
but
they?
in the budget spreadsheet, I mean. So
Okay,
the
yep,
entitlement are,
Yep, so that would be IDEA 240,
262.
262, Title I, Title II, Title IV. Sorry about that.
Pathways
Now, we
a
can put-
local grant?
Sorry?
Pathways a state grant?
That's a state grant.
Okay.
Now, there could be some of these grants that have money that originates at the federal level and flows
Right.
through the state, but the entitlement grants, you know what we'll do? We're gonna put an asterisk on these, in the next version of the budget, so we'll put an asterisk if you, on, so, and then there'll be something on the footer
You bet.
that says asterisk federal, thank you, that's a good idea.
You ready to move on to question 2?
Excuse me.
Yep.
I did notice, I had one question for them. I don't think they can give me the answer right now. I'd like to see a master schedule report. You said you needed more information
Bernie.
on that.
Yeah, are you going, do you want me to jump around like that? or-
Sure, because we are, yes,
We had a question.
combined
Yeah,
group.
What
Tell
I
me
wanna
about that one,
see is
Bernie.
that-
I thought that was Karen's hand behind that question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so that I can see the number of classes each teacher's teaching, the maximum enrollment in the class, the number of students in the class. Yeah, it's you
Yep.
know, the section they're on,
Lacey.
This is just for English, this is an example just made up.
Okay, so there are different people mean different things by master schedule, which is
Yeah.
why we didn't answer it, because.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I realize that, that's
Yeah.
why I,
Okay, so let me sit down so people can see me. So, if I understand, what you're looking for is a list of teachers, the classes they teach, and how many kids in each class?
Yep.
That would be, may I keep this, Bernie?
yeah,
Okay, yeah, we can produce that. You get that?
yeah, 'cause that's just made up, those are.
Yeah.
You see the name Smith and whatever, I mean,
A lot of
Teachers,
Smiths in there.
classes they teach, and enrollment. Yeah, happy to do that.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Question 2, is there going to be a decrease in rural school aid grant? Have you been given any assurances by your state legislatures that the program may see any increases due to other aid being lost? And it looks like you're expecting 175,000 extra.
So the governor's proposed
Okay.
budget did come out on the 28th. And if it goes through, we are
Right.
expected to have some extra money. Looks like we're almost $200,000 more, a little bit underneath it.
Okay.
So we're really hoping for that.
Hopefully, yeah,
It would
'cause
be great
of-
for everybody.
Yeah, because I know the House shreds the governor's budget, does their own thing, then it goes over the Senate, then they shred the budget and do their own thing, and then come up with
So
some
we're
sort of
hopeful.
corporate, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Is that also something you'll find out in September or before?
Summer.
Summer?
okay. Are we ready for question 3?
Just a clarifying follow-up.
Okay.
To that. So that, just going back to version 3.0, the spreadsheet, so at the top you have rural aid, along with the other headings, so right now it's 250.
Mhm.
So there's a possibility that it might be 250 plus the 175?
There's a possibility.
Okay.
Are we all clarified? Any questions? Okay. Number 3, how much was in the circuit breaker account in FY '26? How much is planned to be used in FY '26? How much money do you expect in FY '27? And how much do you expect to spend in FY '27?
Sure, so as of 7/1/25, which was the beginning of this fiscal year, we had $306,071. You'll see there are anticipated reimbursements for this year are $303,000. Our expenditures are $300,000. And then in FY '27, we're hoping for $400,000, that's expected. And then as of right now, our anticipated expenditures are $300,000.
Okay. Now, you're not required, I know I work under the municipal side of accounting, and under the municipal side, if you have a school that's owned and run by the town, where they have the budget, we have to return to the general fund, but I assume you guys don't even deal with that.
Not for circuit breaker. The circuit
No.
breaker is a multi-year.
revolving.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume you guys get
It's a
to keep
revolving
it.
account.
I know under the municipal side, like I work for Shutesbury
Yeah.
Elementary has to,
And circuit breaker is typically not fully funded.
yeah. Like 70,
Yeah.
Five.
The governor's budget had an optimistic number.
of course. She likes being optimistic. We hope it lands up being so.
I don't know if that's
Yes.
either.
Is this looking at the, I had to ask last time, looking at the spreadsheet, because this is ultimately where I'm headed, right?
Excuse me.
Bless
Bless
you.
you.
I see circuit breaker has 300, bless you, and does that mean that
Is what in it, sorry?
it has 300
300,000.
in its column? Does that mean that this has the potential to be 4 as well, depending on what happens?
There's
Or
the
does that
potential
mean
for
that-
change.
okay.
There's a potential for change with 4.0.
Isn't that based on the student population and their needs?
It is, and it's, I'm sorry.
No, go
It's
ahead.
also based upon administrative and school committee judgment about what would be an acceptable level of risk in terms of using those funds as an offset. Right? You don't want to bankrupt an account,
No.
and there are times that the school committee may say, you know what? We're going to press a little harder on that particular line. We're going to use more from that revolving account to support the general fund's budget, because that is a way we can keep town assessments lower.
Lower, okay. You all set with sped circuit breaker?
Oh, special.
Okay. Question 4, how much is in school choice account and how much of it has been used so far in 2026? How much do you plan to have in school choice money in 2027? And how much do you plan to use in 2027?
So at the beginning of the fiscal year, we had $1,185,787 in there. We will begin spending funds on the account for health insurance once the general budget line has been exhausted for health insurance. The draft version that you have shows $575,000 that we're planning on spending in FY '27 from that account. And our anticipated year end for this year, FY '26, we're looking at $912,948. And that also, please understand, includes the unanticipated expenditure of $200,000 from that account of school choice to support the increased health insurance costs that we incurred this year. Please go ahead.
Gail? You know what I just realized we failed to do? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't introduce the other school committee members who are here. Could we acknowledge
They're in the
them?
back row.
Sure.
Oh, okay, please do. Please feel
Yeah.
free to.
Yeah, so,
Just raise your hand if
They
she
came out
calls
on a cold night.
you. It helps, yeah.
so with us, we have Steve Martin from Northfield, we have
Okay.
Brenda Dastis from Northfield, and we have Stephanie Arroyo from Leiden.
Okay.
She gets an extra gold star. She came down.
Yeah.
She went across the river. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So 5?
Fine.
Is that where we are?
Yep.
Okay. So, anything, thoughts, anything on school choice?
I'm good.
Okay, next one. The town's budget makes available estimates for state aid and local receipts. Both resources reduce the impact to the taxpayer. Please provide estimates for Chapter 70 and transportation, even if based on level funding of those refunds. And I know you've got the governor's numbers.
Yeah. So the district budget includes those offset lines that show what we think we'll be spending. We include in our revenue budget, so our budget document is a workbook that has multiple tabs. The first and the biggest tab is the expenditure tab. The next tab is the revenue tab. So when you click on that, you can see what we anticipate will be revenues. The revenues in our budget have to equal the draft expenditures that the school committee, I know you all know this, I'm just.
Oh, yeah, that's good because the people that are watching us need to
Yes, the
know.
one our audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we also produce, as you know, a budget book. And if you go to page 5 of last year's budget book, you'll see the transportation and Chapter 70 revenues listed there. As Taffy mentioned, the cherry sheets, that's the governor's proposal for funding to regional school districts and municipalities, came out at the end of last week. And those have the governor's proposal for what the district would get in Chapter 70, which is the state's primary mechanism for funding public education, regional school transportation, also charter tuition reimbursement. We are one of the, I always forget the number, at this point, something like 7 out of 8 districts, don't quote me on the number, but it's really a high proportion. We are getting just the minimum aid from the state per student. And the governor's proposing $75 per student, which gets us something like 40 grand, 39,000. At this point, it is a small minority of districts in the state who actually get the really beautiful funding through the SOA, Student Opportunity Act. This is a flaw in Chapter 70. People didn't anticipate that it would shake out this way, but it has. And so we'll talk later about ways that we think we might want to collaborate with the towns, if you're open to it, to encourage the state to reopen the Chapter 70 formula.
Now, do you know how the millionaire's tax impacted?
So that, the millionaire's tax, so that is the fair share bill, I apologize. By law, that's the additional tax of 4% on Massachusetts earners on income over $1 million. And that is bringing in several $1 billion per year to state coffers. By law, fair share funding has to go towards either education or transportation, and as you know, last year, Pioneer received a $100,000 earmark. Thank you, Senator Comerford. We'll be building a pavilion, a nice timber frame pavilion, in the next 12, 18 months up at Pioneer with that money. The state does not want to start funding Chapter 70 out of the fair share bill because that's an inconsistent revenue source. It's exceeded people's expectations, right? Billions per year. I think the idea behind it was kind of for the extras versus core funding for annual public education expenses. Does that make sense? So we don't anticipate getting some great money from the fair share bill because that's not how Chapter 70 is funded.
Okay. All you do is you hear education as being part of that millionaire's tax.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything from here? Okay, ready to move on?
Do you suspect that there will be opportunities for additional funding? Like,
For
I
the
mean,
fair share. I don't think for us this year. We asked. We asked if we could go back to our electives and give them some nice ideas, and we're politely told, understandably, y'all got 100,000 last year. We're gonna look at some other districts this year.
And then, are we ready to move on to 6? Why are there no fiscal year comparisons between 25, 26, 27? I believe it's all those grant lines. But it looks like you're saying it's addressed in the budget book.
Can I ask just a point of clarification? Do you mean why they're not on the draft budget?
Why, well, like, idea, what did you get in 26? What did you get in 25 or 24?
Just for a point of clarification for people, in case that's the question.
Lance, what you guys were looking for on that
Yeah,
one?
because we have 26.
Yeah, 26
We
or
don't have
25, 25 or
Earlier
24,
years,
yeah.
is what you're
Okay,
asking for.
that's what you're-
Are there-
yeah.
Okay, so we have never put earlier years up on the budget worksheet here, but it is in our budget book. It is on page 16, and you will see previous years there.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that this year's budget book includes multi-year comparisons. That's for some of the
Yeah.
offsets. That's fine. That's a nice idea. We'll make
Yeah,
sure
because I
it's
like to
on
see
the table.
trends
It's-
and.
Yeah, it's easier to see trends that you see.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's fine. We'll add that.
And where we're going from there and try to, crystal ball, see where we're heading,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, number 7. What is the amount the Vernon, Vermont pays in tuition for a student to attend PVRS? What is the amount of what Warwick, Mass pays in tuition for a student to attend PVRS?
So, as it says here, 20,900 is what Vernon pays per student to attend Pioneer. And Warwick is 18,523. There are links here for some memos that we had with school committee, and it's got rich information in there for you.
Now, in those agreements, do you have like increases for every year?
Yeah. And we are in the 3rd year currently of our 3-year tuition agreement with Warwick.
Okay.
And there's a school committee subcommittee negotiating with Warwick about the next 3 years. Vernon is set in a very different way. The Vermont Department of Education sets an annual average tuition for secondary students. We are not allowed to charge more than that. So what the district typically does is school committee will approve a tuition amount for Vernon students that is we round down to the next $100 increment.
Okay.
So I think last year Vernon's the DOE tuition in Vermont was $20,910. School committee voted $20,900. And that tuition, a vote by the Vermont DOE typically takes place in March.
Is there any anticipation, because I hear that Vermont is trying to put a kibosh on
Yeah.
tuitions going out of state?
I love the opportunity to answer that question.
Do you have anything, if that happens, that's gonna kind of put,
Yeah, that would be an important loss of revenue. I would like, thank you for the opportunity to address that. There are at least 2 places in the Act in Vermont that was revised, and Vermont is having a terrible time corralling the legislators who were supposed to make these maps of consolidated districts. There are at least 2 places in the Act where the legislature could have eliminated the possibility that Vermont tax dollars go to out-of-state districts. They did not. They kept that language in there. They made changes to private school tuition, specifically faith-based schools, and that's caused a lot of anxiety. So there's no indication right now. We look, we haven't seen anything that the Vermont legislature is planning on changing that law again to disallow the flow of tuition dollars to a neighboring district across state lines.
Okay, and is there a cost for homeschool?
No.
No.
Okay, they have a program where they can buy into, I guess, because you have to have some kind of guidelines, right?
Yep, so, do you want me to do this one? Yeah, so these are very different programs under the law. So Massachusetts has homeschooling laws. We are supportive of all of our families, including families who choose not to enroll their kids in our schools and who choose instead to homeschool their students, right? They are all part of our educational community. So there are some districts that have a negative approach to homeschooling families. We are the opposite. We really support them. We think that's an important option for families to have. There's no economic relationship between the district and homeschooling families. Our responsibility is to ensure that homeschooling families send us a homeschool plan. The Director of Student Services, Nancy Karlaklosh, is the administrator who reviews that plan, makes sure that it adheres to state requirements. She lets families know if it needs a little tweaking or a lot of tweaking, and then she approves the plan. She ensures that she gets some kind of assessment information about the student learning by the end of the year, and then works with families to renew for the following year. So that's the extent of our involvement with homeschool.
Do they have
families.
any access to enhancement programs through the school?
So state law gives the school district the authority to decide whether homeschool families may avail themselves of certain district
Say like
activities.
band or something like that.
Right, yes, and so in our so they have to, current policy is that a homeschool family has to approach me and ask for permission. We typically don't allow homeschool kids to come in and out of the building during the school day, right? That just could become a little disruptive. And frankly, we also don't want to create a setup that makes it easy for families to cherry pick. We want to come in for this, but we're not going to be on your rolls as a student that you get tuition from the state for, right? You're just going to come in and out. We definitely have had students who've been approved to participate as athletes in Pioneer.
Yeah,
Student
sports.
Okay.
Sports, yeah.
So
Also,
extracurricular after.
all extracurricular, like.
Not necessarily all
No.
extracurricular.
Okay.
They still have to go through this,
It's,
yeah.
yes, yep.
Okay.
And special education services.
Oh, and special, thank you
Yes,
so much.
sure.
Every student, regardless of whether they're homeschooled or with us, if they have an IEP, the district has to provide those services free of
Okay.
charge to the student.
So just because you said something interesting and I want to catch it on tape for the folks at home, homeschool students are not, the way that school districts are funded is per student, right? It's not per kid in town.
Correct.
And so what that means is if you get $10,000 per kid, you're getting $10,000 per kid enrolled in school, in the district.
Correct.
But not.
But not those who would
Homeschooled.
choose to be
Not
homeschooled.
homeschooled.
That's
That's
correct.
correct.
That's
Okay.
right.
And towns are not assessed for homeschooled students.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for clearing that. I didn't know that. Okay. Ready? Everybody ready?
Go.
Okay.
8.
Number 8, what is the total pupil cost for an in-district student in FY '26? And I see you've got these.
Yeah. So we only have FY '24, that's what
Okay.
was on the DESI site. I tried today
Yeah.
about 8 times to get that figure for FY '25, but I was unable to.
And
But
these town communities are all 7 through 12?
That's right,
Okay.
yeah.
No, and the elementaries are included in there. Okay.
So hopefully we'll get 2025 soon.
Okay.
What was the number in '24?
Oh, I'm so sorry, 27,490.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
If I may, so similar to Bernie's question about the master schedule, per pupil expenditures can mean very different things to different people, different formulas. So we are being conservative in interpreting your question. So we are saying, what is the DESI published in district per pupil expenditure? We did not do a homegrown, well, this is how many kids we have, this is how much, we didn't do that. We're gonna stick with what DESI publishes.
Okay. And I take it that's from your I know you folks have to fill out a long report, like in September, October, and you have to send that to the state.
The end of year report.
Yeah, at the end of year
Yes,
report.
yeah. It's very long.
So it's a very standard form.
So.
Bernie?
Yeah, maybe just explain quickly, other than transportation, the DESI number per student was 27,490. And I see like Vernon's paying 2,900 per student.
Yep.
So we lose.
That's a $7,000 difference. Is the transportation that much?
I
Or
wouldn't
is
say
there
that,
other things?
so again, for the Vernon tuition, we are bound by Vermont law not to charge more than what they vote in March of each year. So we literally couldn't have a tuition agreement.
But the Warwick one is still 18,000.
That's an entirely different tuition agreement,
Yeah,
and they have,
to get the students there too.
they pay for transportation.
Mhm.
We don't provide transportation for Warwick
I just was
students.
wondering what that 27,490
What's the difference?
included.
Sorry, go ahead.
Includes everything except for transportation?
No, it includes transportation costs. It does not, so the in-district expenditure algorithm is for students who are in a school in the district.
In the
There's a
district, okay.
different figure when you include students who are educated out of district. So for instance, a student with significant special needs who's enrolled in what's called a Chapter 766 school,
Yeah.
that tuition might be $110,000 a year, and that's gonna skew
The numbers,
the
okay.
number.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ready to move on to personnel?
Yes.
Okay. Pardon me?
This is really helpful, Patricia, just from an educational standpoint, because I know all these concepts, even after a few years, are still challenging. So when you give that figure, that's all the kids from all three towns. It's based on an average that for all the kids that come from all three towns. It's not,
It's,
and it includes, again, just to repeat what Bernie said
Yeah.
for my own edification, it includes transportation costs.
Yeah.
Where the
yeah,
the tuition agreements that you have with other towns do not, because they're supplying their transportation.
right. We just looked up, so, I wanna be really careful.
Yeah.
We looked this up today. When you click on the link there where it says DESI has published, it's going to take you to a state page
Yeah.
that lists the per pupil expenditures for every district in the Commonwealth. And then at the top, there's a brief explanation, and it will say more about the data. Click on that.
Yeah.
And I looked at that today, but I don't remember the description of the census used when calculating in-district expenditures. I don't remember whether it includes the cost of, for instance, students who are tuitioned into us. So I don't want, we will find that.
Yeah,
and send
no,
it
I
out.
get it, because I've looked at DESI before, and given us the links before, and it's, you can click on a lot of things, and then, you kind of lose the thread, is what I
Yeah.
find, so.
Yeah.
Or you're not sure of the thread because you're not an educational expert, yeah. Thanks.
Ready to,
Move on.
okay. Personnel? Why is the district paying $10K for a financial overseer when the debt the district owed has been paid off? When does DESI plan to end this position?
Great question.
So we, it is a good question, though we love our fiscal overview. I love having one, I really do. Yeah, so you can click on the link here for special legislation of 2018. So we really don't have a say in when the fiscal overseer decides we're all set. It's the state that decides that. And so when the loan is paid off, it doesn't mean that we automatically end our relationship with the fiscal overseer,
Okay.
okay? And the
So
10,000 is
somebody
what we
else-
pay him.
So who has jurisdiction over that?
That would be DESI.
Commissioner.
Yes, commissioner.
And do they give you information as to why it's been this long, or
I can answer
do they
that.
not
Sure. Yeah.
trust the judgment of the people that are
Oh,
trying
gosh.
to?
Oh, no,
Oh,
we're
gosh,
like, they
no.
love us.
They do love
That's real,
us.
they love
Okay.
us. And they love us for good reason, because we're completely transparent with them. When we have problems, we don't obscure them. We bring them to the Associate Commissioner for Finance. I have been saying, if DESI needed a poster child for an example of government intervention and oversight that works, this relationship would be an example. The Pioneer has improved so much since 2017-18 when things were not so good. Things are so different, and in part, in large part, that's because they've put effective oversight into place. Now, I'd say maybe a year ago, Desi was beginning to talk about, there's going to be a horizon here. We're getting close to when we'll lift oversight. We've had a change in Director of Finance and Operations. It is appropriate for Desi to say, although we haven't talked to them about it in a while, yep, we're going to give it a little more time. We've got Taffy here now. Let's make sure Taffy's good. The team is good. I don't foresee that this will be here, even, I don't want to say.
Yeah, we're on the air, so
It's short money for an excellent service that gives us ongoing direct access to the associate commissioner,
It's
right? He's at the
amazing.
top of the chain
Yeah.
there in terms of money, and his regional school district team. We meet with them, I don't know, every 4 to 6 weeks we
Yeah,
have a
it's
meeting,
great.
and it's excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, ready, move on? Okay, 10, what is the COLA for PBRS? What salaries are slated to increase by 4% or over for FY '27, and why?
Okay, sorry.
So I see mostly, if you guys are okay with the 4%, it's mostly focusing on Director of Facilities and Director of Technology, where the big raises are.
All right, so you can see there, and for folks at home, the last year's budget book showed all this information about what the cost of living adjustments, COLAs, are in our 2 collective bargaining agreements. We have 1 collective bargaining agreement with the teachers. Those are certified educators, and 1 for support personnel. Our support personnel workforce includes administrative assistants, instructional assistants, custodians, and food services workers. Next year, the educators, the teachers, have a 3% COLA. However, we also add a new step, a step 18. We're in, to the salary grid. That means that teachers in our district will have an effective annual increase next year of somewhere between 5 and 6.5%, depending on where they are on the salary grid. Almost all of our administrators will have a 4% increase next year. That is lower than the increase the people they supervise will have. Right? We have 2, as we've noted here, we have 2 administrators for whom we are seeking approval from the school committee to give significant raises, 10%, and that is because, as you see on the little graphs to the left, and I'm sorry that they're so small, if you click on the document, you can make it nice and big. Our Director of Facilities is the lowest paid Director of Facilities in Franklin County, and our Director of Technology is the lowest paid Director of Technology in Franklin County. There are at least 2 districts in Franklin County that don't have a Director of Technology. They outsource technology management to a firm. Both of these individuals have been with the district for 5 years. They're doing a good job. We want to keep them long-term. Not beginning to bring their salaries more in line with those of their local counterparts is not a good strategy for keeping good leaders.
As I'm looking at these graphs, and I do appreciate graphs, thank you. As I'm looking at the sort of comparisons, I'm not as familiar with the structure of these districts to know how many buildings a director of technology or director of facilities is overseeing for one versus the other. Additionally, and how many students are being served, right? Like, what is the traffic happening in each building? Can you give me a sense of which of these districts would be the closest one-to-one?
Well, that is terrific insight. And in addition, what this does not show is how many support personnel the director has. So in our district, there's just 1 other person. So remember the power outage a couple weeks ago that hit Northfield? Did anyone else lose power?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I lost power. Pioneer lost power. It also fried the electrical panel that serves our water pump. So I got a call before 7 the next morning. We thought we were all good, saying there's no water at Pioneer. It was too late to stop the school buses. Everybody came, and then we had to shut school down. We closed school at 10:30. Gretchen Licata, our Director of Facilities, was able to get the gentleman who designed the electrical panel 25 years ago when Pioneer was renovated, who's now retired in Florida, on the phone to walk through our in-person electrician to fix the electrical panel. So all of that. We don't have a lot of, oh, and so the reason I was saying is because that night, our server got fried. And our 2-person staff and technology spent the entire night at Pioneer, from midnight to 5 in the morning, trying to get the server up and running again. They went home for a couple hours, came back, kind of jerry-rigged something so that we could be up and running until a new part came in the next day. So your question, there needs to be more fleshed out, and I don't know, I don't know how many tech people Frontier has. I don't know how many tech people other places have. What I know is that we have one director of technology with one network administrator. There's a data person, but she doesn't actually work on the hardware, to run everything. It's a lot. He's doing a great job, and we don't want to lose him. I mean, that's kind of
For sure.
the bottom line.
What do you base your COLAs on?
So that's based on a number of things. That happens during negotiations. Typically, there's an outfit that's now selling a service to districts so that they can buy information about comparable district COLAs and all kinds of aspects of negotiating. We haven't done that. It's been our labor. I gather the collective bargaining agreements for every district in Franklin County, and I do an analysis of what other districts are paying their certified educators now and in the future years of the contract, and then I make graphs showing where they are, where we are currently, where we might go, and then school committee takes that and begins working with it to develop a negotiations plan. It also, we also review all the ancillary benefits that people have.
So you don't base it on a national average that
what?
you don't base it on what the national COLA average is that we get from the government.
We look at like the consumer price index.
Yeah,
We look at things
that's
like
it.
that
That's
also.
exactly what we do with our employees, and we have, I think, one time the highest we've ever gone is 6, and we always tend to go lower than what they are average because we're looking not to increase taxes, but. So that's why I asked you what your criteria was.
We look at that also. And Pioneer, when I arrived, was among the lowest paying districts in the county. We are no longer among the lowest paying districts in the county, and we've seen the impact of that in improved teacher retention. And I'll state the statistic again. We hired 9 new educators this past summer. Only one of those was a novice educator. First year teaching, she's doing a great job. The 8 other educators we hired had on average 10 years, at least 10 years of experience, which means good experienced educators are leaving other districts to come to Pioneer because the word is out that it's a good place to work. We're not in crisis, right? Good principals, you're gonna have a nice boss, and the pay is better than it used to be. So for us, it's been a really positive strategy to improve teacher salaries, and school committee will begin preparing for negotiations for the next round of collective bargaining agreements.
When was the last time a step was added? I see you added the step 18.
Yeah.
When was the last time a step was added, and what was the conversation about surrounding adding one for this year?
So there's a step added for each year of the 3 years of the current contract. So I don't know in terms of prior contracts when the last time a step was added, but in this current 3-year contract, there's a new step for the first year, the second year, and the third year. And that is because the largest cohort of licensed educators at Pioneer, and this is typically the case, it's definitely the case in Gil-Montague, the largest single place on the salary grid, step and lane, is teachers who are at the top step with a master's degree. Currently, 32% of our educators are at that step and lane. Now, the school committee comes into negotiations with their ideas and their plan. The union comes into negotiations with their idea and their plan. When you have a group where the biggest cohort is already at the top step, that's what they're looking for. Right? And there's a phrase, it's an awful phrase, that unions sometimes eat their young. Unfortunately, in education it happens. It's awful. It's awful. But what it means is that there's a negotiating objective on the part of some teachers' unions to get more money for the folks at the top of the scale, because they're not getting step increases anymore, the way they did all those other years. And so this was an agreement reached to add those steps, which gave our experienced people good increases 3 years in a row.
And then part two, wasn't the director of facilities, didn't that position get a big increase last year as well? Or am I misremembering it? Okay.
I don't know.
Can I look into that for you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just remember that.
And if
seemed
it
big
did,
last year, but-
if it did, because if it did, and there may even have been something, no. If it did, then it was part of a multi-year approach, like, we can't raise it. I mean, we could, you know. I'm making these numbers up, 30% in a year, like, that's a little, that's a lot. So it may be tapping that we had a multi-year strategy that we're gonna do this a
To get
couple of
to
years in a row.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, she was 9.57% last year.
She was what, 7?
9.57.
Yeah, so it's another, so
Right.
it's a
Another-
20% in 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Okay,
And she's still the lowest.
okay. I understand that.
Yeah.
Just one follow-on, I think just to give a little bit of color to the question to Patricia, because I know this is a challenging area. I think in talking with Jordan, one of the things that had come up is that you guys, back like a year or two ago, was that when you were hiring new people, it was to be as competitive as possible. So I think we're at the point where when we see the 10% increases, it was like, oh, what's that? That's exactly where, when we were looking through the spreadsheets, I always look when I see something like a 10%, especially in a tight year. The other thing is, can you remind me there's a dean of students and a director of student services now? Am I correct on that?
Yes, they're two
Okay.
very different
Two
roles.
different
So the
roles.
dean of students is like a vice principal?
Right, but so you have two different, when I'm just looking at.
One is a district administrator, member of senior leadership. It is one of the few positions under Massachusetts law that is hired by the school committee, not by the superintendent, because it's the person in charge of special education. That's a very high-level district job. Dean of students is very much like an assistant principal.
Okay.
At Pioneer.
Okay.
Just
Because over
Pioneer.
the last 6 years, the administrative discussions, the discussions about administrators has been kind of a perennial topic. So I just wanted to, I know we had a change, I think, when somebody had retired. Is that where the dean of students then came in? Or
No.
No,
Okay,
No,
sorry.
that's okay.
The other thing I'm just gonna point out is for us in Bernardston, I think, overall, our COLA is 2.8, yours is 3%, and FERCog's is 3%. So I think that was the other reason why we zeroed in on the percentages. Understand
Sure.
that?
Yeah, thank you.
That's the frame of reference.
sure.
Okay, we all set here?
Yep.
Okay. Number 11, why was the tutor line dropped so significantly to Pioneer Valley Regional?
Because enough wasn't spent out of it to justify
So what does that line do?
that pays for tutors.
Okay,
To
so
help
you're just not
students.
having much of a need
Yeah,
for
That's
tutors?
correct. I
Okay,
didn't want to leave it up.
okay. Number 12,
And I would say,
Oh, sorry.
I would add to the tutor, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's for like when you're placed
Students who take
on,
home.
Yes.
on out of school suspension. And we have the lowest or one of the lowest rates,
So that would be
And-
for a prolonged out-of-school suspension,
Yeah.
which we don't have.
which we don't have.
Or
Right.
a student is at home.
Students at home
Like
or
a terrible
ill.
broken leg.
ill or
that
Yeah.
sometimes they.
so they would have to have tutoring at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Special needs, occupational and physical therapy shows an increase, 42% increase in funds. Has there been any further information uncovered as to why this spiked so dramatically?
Sure. We had a full-time OT who did resign at the end of the summer. And we had a PT that was a .375. When we hired for a new OT, he came in at a much higher rate. He's extremely experienced, 20 plus years. And then that .375 person came up to a .5 for student need. and the math is there for the
Okay, now has there
explanation.
been more of a need in the student population for these services, or?
Yes, so, I was just gonna give an example, but
Sure.
we're so small, yes, there's a need,
Okay,
yeah.
so there, because I know one person can really jump that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. A couple finance positions on page 1 changed their FY '26 amounts
Ever.
or decrease. Okay, so that, number 13 is just a clerical error.
Clerical error, yep.
Okay. 14, the timing with insurance changes and increases is difficult, but are you expecting higher on the health and life insurance line items for active employees and retirees? Retirees, for example, is increasing by 2% for FY '27.
So-
And you guys are moving to the GIC.
Yeah, we are. We're moving to the GIC. And of course, the health insurance is gonna go up because there's a percentage increase each year, so
Right.
that will. We are expecting a bit less. Do you wanna talk a little
Yeah,
more
this is,
about that?
it's a not straightforward answer, although we're not trying to obscure anything.
not
Okay,
It's a difficult topic.
so we think that the district will have savings next year compared to what we would have spent had we stayed with the HCGIT. The numbers in last year's budget that was approved in February, as you know, don't include that mid-year increase, right? So it gets kind of complicated,
It
because we can
does.
talk about
It's
FY
very
'26, but that
complicated.
wasn't actually the FY '26 cost. The FY
Yeah.
'26 cost is like, I don't know, 500 grand higher than what was in the budget. So for big picture, we are keeping our fingers crossed, reviewing the GIC documents shared to date, that the GIC will result in some actual savings over what we would have spent next year had we stayed in the HCGIT. And we put in the dates there. The GIC board is voting this Thursday, this
Friday.
Friday, on possible changes to plan design for the first time in years. The GIC is thinking of upping co-pays, changing deductibles. We've gone through it all. Most of it seems really reasonable, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a link there to some very good slides. And then they vote on the 26th on the plan rates for next year. So that's important information. And we won't know where we stand until open enrollment is done at the end of May. No, April 1st to May 1st is open enrollment, and then by the end of May, we'll know where we land. We'll have more info then.
So I just got notification from the state today that those towns that are leaving the trust, as you know, people may be still on it for like claims or whatever, and there was some sort of instructions that we may have to amortize those claims.
Right.
So just so you
Yeah,
know.
that was actually something Senator Comerford worked on,
Okay.
and Natalie Blais to really help out. So towns and HCGIT member entities that ran into real financial difficulty could try to amortize stuff over 5 years.
Yeah.
We just got it today, so we
Yeah,
haven't
we
talked
did.
about it.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got the same
We
notice
have it, right.
probably. You probably got it from Desi, I
probably-
got it from DLS.
So probably this, the proposal is got the worst case scenario for insurance based in your part 3, your version.
It's 18%?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
18%.
There
Okay.
will, most likely, there will be a change. I would
Okay.
project a
Yeah.
change for Portland.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next question. There's a downward projection of student population, but major increases in the school budget. Please explain.
So we actually have an increased projection by the MSBA study, enrollment study. And we are seeing that declining enrollment is coming to an end. So our school choice enrollment has gone up 35% this year.
At Pioneer.
At Pioneer, excuse me, and the grade 7 cohort increased by 32%. The MSBA enrollment study, there's a link here, please go to it. It's very interesting, and it's great to see that there is going to be an upward trend for us. And comparing that to the school budget, you say that there's major increases. One of those major increases is the health insurance. It's a very, very large increase for us in this budget.
But you just said that it's gonna be less than what it was last year. Didn't you say that?
Correct, so you're referring to large increases in.
In insurance, yeah.
Yep, you're referring to large increases in the budget, which is version 3.0, which we just said is an 18% increase, and things may change.
I think, could I say something about this, about it's a logical question, right? Pioneer,
It
the
is.
district has gotten smaller, but how come the budgets don't don't get smaller? It's because, you still have to run a school, right? So you have 150 kids in the school, you get state reimbursement for 150 kids, making this simplistic. You lose 10 kids, you don't get to reduce a teacher, you don't get to reduce a custodian. The per pupil cost goes up. It's like the physics of public education funding, right? None of us likes it. From my professional perspective, the main culprit here is actually the state's funding formula.
Okay.
Chapter 70 is based too heavily on enrollment, not on what it costs to run a school. So there's a link there to the Rural Schools Commission report that came out in July 2022. Sometimes those reports are deadly, right? This one is not. It is really worth a look. I would happily run a little study group with anybody from Select Board, Finance Committee to go over it. The recommendations are excellent. This has been studied to death. What we know is that it costs 20% more to educate kids, by and large, in a rural district. The state should be funding our district at like $2,100 more per kid. The commission said the state in 2022, so those are FY 2022 dollars, the state should fund rural aid at $60 million. If the state had funded rural aid fully last year, Pioneer would have gotten $1.3 million in rural aid
What an
versus
offset.
200 grand, right? We could have reduced town assessments and invested in educational programming. So I'm hoping we'll talk about the LAWSUIT.
So it would be probably a good idea for whoever's watching to send a nice little note to their legislator and say, hey, let's do
Open up
this.
chapter,
You
the
know?
phrase
I
is
mean,
break open the
Yeah.
formula,
Yes.
break open
Yes.
chapter 70.
because
Yes.
everything right now is on the
Do it.
taxpayers' backs.
It's unfair, it is unfair.
Not yet.
Okay, great, okay.
Okay, Bernie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of
Aaron,
questions
Bernie,
here.
question.
You quote here the enrollment study released by the MSBA November 2025 projects an increased enrollment over the next 10 years. Then another arm of the state, the Donahue Institute at UMass Amherst, stated the opposite, saying they're going to see a significant population decrease for Northfield. They say currently, as of 2024, we'll have 2,866 in our population. They project in the next 14 years, by 2050, that the town will only have 2,064 people. So how can we have more students enrolled when we're going to have almost a third less population here in this town?
It's a great question. There are two different studies with two different aims. One is looking at overall population, one is looking at the population of school-aged children. What we can say is that the MSBA is the money place, right? They're the ones spending taxpayer money on school facilities. When the legislature created the MSBA in 2004, they didn't start dispersing money until 2008. So many districts had been overly optimistic, Bernie, with their enrollment projections and had overbuilt, which costs everybody money, that the legislature said the MSBA has to conduct the enrollment studies. So Pioneer, and to whomever we outsourced the numbers to, Pioneer didn't get it right when we did a building project. Everyone had their best intentions, but we overbuilt Pioneer. The enrollment projection that was created 25 years ago was not accurate. And this question was asked of the MSBA, well, you blew it 25 years ago, why should we trust you now? And the MSBA politely said, we didn't even exist when we built Pioneer 20 or 25 years ago. And this was such a problem across the Commonwealth that the MSBA has to do those enrollment projections. And they're not, they're spendthrifts. They're not giving the money away. So I feel confident in the MSBA projections. I know that. I know the study that you're referring to again. They were looking at two different types of projection, and I can't explain the difference completely.
Well, it shows there has been a decline in Northfield's population over the last couple of years. We were at over, 3,200 just a few years ago. And now we're
Not
on,
just a few years ago.
yeah,
In the time that I've been here, I don't believe that I've been here 6 years, I don't think that it's been 30.
but we're now in the 2,800 area. The other thing I want to ask here is, you say the school choice enrollment at PVRS increased by 35% at between June and September of 2025. What is the number for in-district, increase or decrease during that period of time?
Of
No, in-district students.
resident students.
Yes.
I have to go look that up. We will send it to you.
Okay.
Now, there's gonna be a change at Pioneer next year, right? Because we've got this teeny tiny senior class of 16 kids. Those kids are gonna be replaced by a bigger class. So we're like almost de facto gonna have an increase of some tens of kids, 20, 30 kids with that. The following year, there's another small class graduating. We're gonna replace that with another larger class. So there's some, this is not just hope. This is not winging a prayer. There are some solid indicators, like the fact that our 7th through 9th cohort, those are the younger kids, is the largest it's been in 6 years. So again, this is not just, we want to hope for stuff. There are solid indicators that our numbers will be increasing. And we'll get the in-district student numbers up to you.
Yes. Okay. Oh, B?
We might need, I'm just looking at the time, we might need a separate meeting on enrollment, just so we can, I think, get on the same page also with the definitions too. I think from a Northfield perspective, quite honestly, just looking at it from a Northfield, whenever we get the enrollment by town, I've noticed numbers going down for Northfield students in high school. So I think that's where a lot of the concern for Northfield comes from, right? Particularly with assessments. And then when I look at a town like Wyden and have a couple of kids in high school, for example.
Oh, that's okay.
If Northfield's numbers go down, your assessment percentage goes down.
Right, as long
Which
as
is
it's
beneficial-
revenue
which is
and the other
beneficial to
parts of the
Northfield.
formula
We've already done
will,
this, we've already done this.
But still, it's a chunk of change. Can you send the spreadsheet? There was one that we got, I think it was in October, that showed the number of enrollment by.
Yep, we have sent that,
by grade.
we have sent that multiple times, and we will send it again.
Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
the one from
That answers
October
this
is the one
question.
from December is the question. I have the one from October.
Yes, we
Yeah,
will,
So
yes, we
skip
will send that
17
again.
and just go to 19. Okay.
Yeah, I just got a question.
Yeah.
Tricia, you might know this. I was looking at the enrollment study by MSBA, and I was trying to see when they started doing these enrollment projections and what their track record was, and I couldn't find any.
I think that they started doing, we will double check, but I believe that they started doing enrollment projections at least in 2008. Well, that's when they started
Oh, no,
dispersing money.
that would be
Yeah.
Because I know they didn't do it when Pioneer was built.
Right. So the
Right,
MSBA
that's
started in
right.
2004, right? But they started giving money out in 2008, so we'll find out when they started doing enrollment projections. I don't know, that's a great question, how we analyze their success rate. Let's ask them.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
I was just,
Great.
I couldn't find anything. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, we all good here?
Yep.
Okay, 16 looks like it's self-explanatory.
Okay.
And then 17 has, based on PBRS enrollment, there are 11 non-district students enrolled in Bernardston, 2 at NES, 65 at PBRS. Do these non-district students who attend contribute funds to OPEB and capital costs?
So
Is
was that OPEB? That
right?
was a misspelling? Okay.
So part of their tuition
Yep.
costs.
This is again, I hope this is helpful from like the whole education, how things function work. So our district agreement does not allow the district to try to seek capital costs from anyone other than the member towns.
Okay.
So you need to know that. There's nothing in state law in the school choice program that would allow a district to seek capital costs from a sending district. And there's nothing in any of the existing tuition agreements that allows the district to seek capital costs from the sending district.
So what's the dollar amount that you get for the school choice then? It's the
You-
5,000?
Plus a special education increment,
Yeah, versus it might,
19,000.
might be
Yeah.
apples and oranges, but the 5,000 versus the tuition per pupil, how does it?
versus the per pupil expenditure?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
this is
like
a- yeah.
5,000 per student is a lot
Yep.
lower, right,
Yep.
than like what Warwick's paying the Vernons.
Right.
Right, and that's the state sets that.
Yeah, I know
and,
that.
So, right, so, and one could ask, well, why bother doing it? It's because if you, at the elementary level, if you don't have a full classroom and you've got all the expenditures happening anyway, bringing in a school choice student or two, then you've got 10,000 extra. If the student has special needs, the special education increments are favorable. You can generate quite a bit of income from this sending district. We get to build, and the money actually doesn't get billed, just the state manages the
State
flow of
does.
funds. But it's quite favorable.
But aren't your personnel costs higher with the amount of time that you have to spend with the kids?
So
If you bring in more students, I think that argument would raise that.
Yep. So it depends. So it depends on the level of need. That has an implication on the increment.
Yeah.
And in our tuition agreements, if there's a student who has extraordinary needs that we can't meet, we don't take the student. We're under no obligation to keep the student. In our tuition agreements, if there's a student who needs a one-on-one aid, that is split up, that's being paid for by the district. We're not taking that cost.
Okay. Okay, we all set there, and then I think 18 was already addressed. So the last one looks like 19, how many students are using GCC for their classwork instead of or in addition to their PVRS classes? So you have enrollment?
It's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right
Yeah,
here,
three.
three students.
There's three.
Oh, I'm sorry. And does the school pay for that to go to GCC, or is that something the student's responsible for if they attend GCC?
So there is some tuition available through the state for students who enroll in GCC. We have some students who've been enrolled in GCC classes who get that paid for through the Pathways grant, so if they're involved so we have the environmental science.
So that's what that
pathway.
Pathways
So
grant
yeah,
is.
so that
Okay.
pathway grant can pay for that type of course.
Okay.
Is that where those 7 students come in? Are they Pathways kids?
Those 7 students, they are taking classes, that's not necessarily Pathways. Those
Oh.
kids are taking classes both, so they come to Pioneer for part of the day, and then they go to GCC for part of the day.
Okay, are we all,
One question, who's responsible for transportation of the students to GCC?
Unfortunately, the students.
Students.
Students,
Okay.
okay.
That's a very, gosh, we would love to have a couple vans.
And we'd love to have public
We'd love to
transportation
have public
to come
transportation.
too,
Wouldn't that be great?
so that they wouldn't have to
I like
foot
to
the
see the state
bill.
pay for that too.
yeah, bring it
Yeah, that
on.
fair share, yes, that, we've got a really good, you know what, can we put down that we're gonna send them, we made a map that
Yes.
shows the Commonwealth with all 351 municipalities, and it overlays the MBTA map. The MBTA serves 175 or 176. It shows the PBTA down south in the valley. It doesn't show Franklin Regional Transportation Authority, but there's a second. Anyway, we got nothing. So in FY25, the fair share, the millionaire's tax, spent hundreds of millions of dollars to support public transportation in the Commonwealth. Not one dime benefited the children and families of Pioneer Valley Regional School District. In essence, our families with juniors and seniors, many of them are buying extra cars for their families
Right.
so that their junior and senior students can drive places. I view that as a private tax. The failure of the Commonwealth to support public transportation in our 3 towns has resulted in extra payments that our families have to make to support another car, so their kids can go to after-school classes and after-school job. My daughter, when she was in the Boston Public Schools, her Boston Public Schools ID was a T-Pass. It was a 24/7 T-Pass. And so my daughter, leaving high school, could go to her job. She could go, she was an intern in South Boston. She could get herself across town. That's public investment that is not being directed towards rural districts. So I have very strong feelings about the extra
yeah.
payment our
No,
families are making.
absolutely.
I think the,
I was just gonna add, we talked briefly about this, but at a select board meeting, and I sent you guys the handout from FERCog, but PVRTA
Is looking.
is looking at expanding the on-demand, and we will be, Northfields and surrounding areas, I think will be part of that experiment. So it's no longer just for seniors or
Okay.
senior citizens. You can, and it'll be a cheaper option, it'll be on-demand, so.
That would be
Okay.
great.
Great for
So
our
that's like
students.
something we'll
Through
keep
Northfield.
pushing for, you know.
One last thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But that, the public transportation, if I remember right, seniors get priority on it.
I think that's
So it
right.
might not be available for the students.
That's what I read. Yeah, I read what you are saying.
One, I want to thank you all for coming.
Thank you
for having
And I
Thank
know
you.
that you're working on another rendering. 10% is going to be tough. And we're going to be talking, and we have to talk to the other departments of the town, and we're going to be asking them to dig deep. We've already had a few cancel capital projects and capital equipment because they know that there are things that the town is looking at. So I know you will, look at your next rendering and keep that in mind because we're asking the other half of that coin to cut their budgets too, so.
Yeah, we understand, we absolutely understand that, yeah. It's a balancing act.
It is,
It
very much
really
so,
is.
as far as.
And please know, we are aware of that.
Okay.
Yep.
One last question, sorry, will you have the assessment estimates at the Thursday meeting done?
You will have them by 5 o'clock tonight.
Oh,
We
okay,
put that in
Okay.
the email we sent out this
Okay.
afternoon.
Okay, great.
Yeah, if you get it to me,
That'll be
B, if you get it to me, I'll share it with everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Not at
Thank
this
you.
time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
you.
your
Thanks for having
time.
us.
See you
Thank
Thursday.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Greg, Liz, we tried to get this. Sorry, that's a lot of information.
That master schedule reports the one. They did.
Thursday, are you going Thursday? Okay, I'll be there. I have nobody at home.
You read?
I have nobody at home to worry about.
It just, well, you
Yeah,
guys,
I'll go. And
Okay.
whoever else wants to.
okay. I'm just wondering, yeah, I just, I don't need to advertise, well, it's kind of too late to advertise anyway. Or should I? Should I? No, okay. It's not, because you guys aren't able to make it. I'm sorry? Will that be televised? Okay. Generally, they're not. I can never remember the name of the gentleman from Franklin Tech.
You'll get it.
I don't know.
Okay, then we'll close our meeting.
You might even take a break.
I'm not gonna go to the budget meeting.
Motion to adjourn at 7:18 for the select board.
Oh, okay.
We won't have a quorum.
Okay.
All those in favor? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I could bounce off.
Huh?
I could have bounced off and
Yeah.
messed him up.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Sorry for the delay.
It's totally understandable.
I know it's your, yeah, and I know you do like, was it 20 of these or something?
19.
19, yeah.
Do you go to every single one of them, or do you break it up?
Majority, I mean, I'm trying to go to all the ones that I can, because everyone asks different questions. I mean,
And
I think maybe in time we'll, if we got
Andrea,
some new, we'll break it.
he's got it all set.
Rick, you may have to
We're
check
gonna
in
try
with
to get you some
Andrea.
help, but I think it'd be
Does he, do you need a few minutes to, because I was gonna say, can we do it?
Yes, why don't we, yeah. why don't we do
Okay.
that?
Being that numbers are so fresh, the budget book is
Well, he's,
just a
well, he's
quick
getting
work
ready
in
to run
progress,
into
because we
the
just
minutes.
got.
We're gonna move on to other things so that.
So
while
he
you
can
guys
get
get
ready?
set.
Okay,
This is their website.
Yeah.
okay.
We'll let you get out, don't worry, take your time.
Student enrollment.
Do you need anyone up here at the table?
I'm sorry,
Do
what?
you need anyone up here at the table for your other topics?
No, I don't believe so.
We're just gonna pass some minutes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Are we like to, do you want to do the minutes while he's setting up? The minutes? Sure. Okay.
Love to.
Okay. A motion to accept the minutes for,
Nobody can, hang on one second, I wanna make sure that they can hear you.
oh, okay,
Somebody's gonna be taking minutes.
okay.
Yeah, especially when we have the votes.
Yeah.
we have to-
Okay, are we all set then, or,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, motion to accept the minutes as written January 5th, and again, I'd like to thank Robin for being the chair at that meeting. Is there a motion to accept?
I, Bernie Parada, make a motion to accept the minutes as written for January 5th of 2025. Oh, excuse me, that should be 2026.
Yeah,
So moved.
okay, any corrections, anything else? I wasn't here, so I'm gonna vote, was it abstain?
You abstain usually
I
if you're
abstain,
not
I'm gonna
present.
abstain.
Dan Campbell says yes.
Bernie Parada says yes.
Morgan O'Brien says yes.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes.
Robin Vanderbeck, yes.
Okay, the minutes have been approved.
12th.
Okay, January 12th. A motion to accept the minutes as written January 12th.
So moved. Robin
Second.
Rinneback.
Okay.
Dan Campbell, second.
Any comments, any corrections, edits?
Nope.
No. Okay, Gail Weiss, say yay.
Dan Campbell says yes.
Bernie Parada says yes.
Morgan O'Brien says yes.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes?
Robin Rinneback, yes.
Okay, it's unanimous, and we've got our minutes accepted for both the 5th and the 12th. Okay, are you all set?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you for coming and waiting patiently.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
B, could you do me a favor? Could you just turn that just a little bit more so we
Yeah,
can see
so we
it?
can see it. Yeah.
I can't see.
You knock it off, you own it.
Everybody,
A little bit more if you can.
Bernie, do you need to move around to see it, or are you okay?
No, I'm all set.
Have it hit
Okay.
the wall.
Do you
That's good.
do you have a link or something?
Oh.
There it
Oh, perfect, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Wow.
Thanks, boss.
The floor is yours.
Digital copy?
Is there a link we can, I can't see that, is there a link we can?
We can't yet because
Okay.
our school committee hasn't seen this yet.
Oh.
Those are pretty early.
So-
The numbers just came out a few days ago.
Well, we do hope we don't put their nose out of
Hopefully
joint. We're saying it early.
Okay, so hopefully you'll explain, I can't read
Yeah.
any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
It's too tiny.
all right, I'll try to blow it up on my screen and maybe that'll help.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just for the
Thank you.
public, so they know, in case they're not familiar,
Yeah.
please introduce yourselves to the.
Absolutely. I'm Rick Martin, the Superintendent Director, Franklin County Technical School.
And I'm Liz Bouchard, the business manager at Franklin County Tech.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you. We are in a situation where we just received the insurance numbers in a range between either 16% increase if the group are impact bargaining would like to have higher deductibles, or 20% increase if not. So we have to budget right now until we impact bargain very conservatively. So we are yet hit with our third 20% increase since this time last year. That impacted our budget, no different than the other schools, by just over $1.1 million. So
From what? What was it last year?
it was, scroll up.
They're in the same group we
It
We are?
was
Are they in the
Oh.
trust?
right here.
Oh, you're in the
Yes.
same,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
These
So
items
over
right
FY
here.
So you're dealing with the
25,
same
yeah.
numbers,
Right, okay.
yeah.
So we're dealing with the same concerns I think everyone else is dealing with, and you can't budget for that ahead of time. So what we had to do is take everything out of the budget that we possibly could foresee. So we ended up taking about 750 to 800,000 out before we started refining the budget. So that was challenging. We will have reductions in force. I don't know what that will look like just yet. We're still kind of going through that. We just received the insurance numbers last week, and we just received the governor's numbers a few days ago. So we're trying to, you are the first group to receive a budget. In that time frame, we were able to scramble and get what your assessment will be for the town of Northfield. And we felt that was a critical thing to try to get done for tonight, you know, while you are in front of us. And our first reading of the budget with our school committee will be February 11th. They will have 1 month to deliberate, and there may be some adjustments and changes during that time frame. And then the final vote for our school committee will be March, the second Wednesday in March. So then from there, we send out our budget to all of our member towns, and you'll have that for your town meetings. So that's kind of our process. So where are we today? The top screen I'm showing you today for the public is how we receive our funding. When we look at our assessment to the towns, it's really based on our per pupil expenditures. I'm gonna shrink this screen so we can see Northfield. I highlight it in yellow for the town of Northfield. So Northfield, if you look at last year, Northfield had 50 students. They went to 58 students. And that is the increase in the assessment is based on the number of students. Your per pupil expenditures cost, you know, the town has to pay $19,895 per pupil. Now the state develops what that's gonna end up costing. Last year, you were 18,023, so just give you a ballpark. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, and it just, like, we had one town jump from 11,000 per pupil to 19,000 in 1 year, just because one person happened to move into town. So it depends, it's that fragile.
perceived
So
wealth of
the
the-
fluctuation is based on your relative income and property value, and they kind of calculate that in. So in small towns, like a town like Leiden or Heath or Rowe, those are major impacts. The larger the town, the less of that degree, so you have a little bit of fluctuation there. So the assessment for Northfield you can see right here would be 1,153,893 based on 58 students. Now, how does it project for next year? Now, as I think we were here about a month ago or so describing the lottery system. So we're going to be looking at probably 10 additional students coming in. I don't have the graduation data right here tonight as far as how many leaving, but based on that number, it's probably larger than 10. So I could project based on the hills and valleys and my experience of doing this for a long time, that those numbers will start to come back down, and then they kind of fluctuate based on that, the number of students that will graduate. When we look at and you'll get this budget book, which will have all these little clickable links so that the public themselves could download the book, put it on their computer, and be able to navigate and find out where we got all these figures from, right? When we look at our debt service, the next line item, number 2, that's the old windows, doors, and paving project, and that changed from, it went down.
The $1,000 difference over last year.
Yeah, it went down a little bit from the previous year.
How long before that gets all paid off?
So it's 8 years
8 more
remaining.
years?
Yep.
Okay.
8 years, yeah. And then chapter 78.
What's the number?
For what?
On the 8 years. I'm sorry, which figure were you?
What's the number of the debt?
The debt total is
No,
2.
no, the Northfield.
Okay, yeah, I'll go right to the
Yeah.
town.
Oh.
Here we go. Highlight it in yellow.
Okay.
All set. So it's 11,372.91 for the town of Northfield.
Just trying to fill in.
Yep, excellent question. I would have skipped over that, so thanks for the reminder. I totally forgot about
I mean,
that.
it's not a make or break number.
Yeah.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's
Last year.
it's a little lower than the previous year. Then we look at chapter 78. Now, not only did we get nailed on insurance, then we get to chapter 78, and we budgeted initially in our draft budget very conservatively because we didn't trust what happened last year. So even though a few of the quarters increased in their revenues for the state, it should have gone up higher than it did, but we learned that we're not going to kind of go as high. Well, we had the best collection of revenues since COVID in the state of Massachusetts. They were telling us don't budget above 4.5% increase in chapter 70, because usually when we see these type of increases, in my experience, it translates like it did 5-6 years ago to an 8 and 9% increase from chapter 70. I level funded it just to see where it's going to actually fall.
Yeah. That's a good
I
idea.
thought that was just because I don't trust what they've been doing with the different formulas they're playing around with. So having said that, they came in and they increased chapter 70 at 0.79%. Now, how that gets calculated, now this is a good exercise for the public too, is when I go to this DOR cherry sheet, which is where you get those figures from. You look at this number, 6248022. I don't anticipate that going up. There's some optimism in other towns or what have you. I don't anticipate that going up. Then I look at my regional transportation. That kicked up 8%. So that went up to 9.5. The total between what the governor's given us, the state aid, it's calculated in 2 major items. One is chapter 70 and the other is the regional transportation, or the state aid transportation. The total was 1.7% increase. We budgeted 2%, so we didn't get killed on that. That was not that was not bad, we could recover. But it didn't help out, we were hoping that was gonna offset some of the insurance cost. It certainly didn't do that. So when we go to the DOR cherry sheet, in this exercise here, this goes straight to the Department of Revenue. So if you click that, that should go right to the Department of Revenue. And this is a small screen, I'll blow it up for the public to the best I can. And then what happens is, you go to regional schools, you can go to Pioneer, you can go to Franklin County Tech, Frontier, it doesn't make a difference. It's gonna give you the exact figures that should be in the budget, right? So when I look at Franklin County Tech, I click on, you see at the top, I press submit. That's all you gotta do. And the numbers I just showed you is exactly what's in the cherry sheet. So that's the number, 6,248,000. I just showed you that in our budget. That's where we got it from. And you know, the transparency part of this is really important. I think all our numbers can be guided through an external source. The regional transportation, 959,185. So that's how you kind of figure out where that's coming from. When I look at that was a hit to our budget. Kind of a big one. Tuition from non-member towns, those towns that pay anywhere between $20,000 and $27,000 per pupil on average. We pulled that amount last year. We pulled 765. We're intending to pull. I have to say intending because we haven't got our first review from the school committee or our finance committee, which is this Wednesday night.
The finance this Wednesday night.
So that's how we can offset a little bit of that. Tuition from our pre-employment program, which is a self-contained specialized program for intellectually challenged individuals. We had more enrollment, so we pulled a little bit more out of that, about 100. Excess and deficiencies. Well, that's a certification that we have. That's what the state
Free cash.
guides us to.
Yeah.
That's free cash. When I go to excess and deficiencies, now every click has a link of a paragraph explains what excess and deficiencies is. It's the town's free cash. It's very similar for a school. When I go to the DOR website and I look at 2007, 26 or 27, that'd be under.
It'd be fiscal year 20, I believe it'd be 26.
I think it would be,
because it's
yeah.
last year's.
So then I would just scroll to our school for Franklin County Tech. And then I just go to preview it. And that figure right here, where is it? Is this Franklin Tech? It's up. Yeah, there it is. 533,747. So that's our certified. That's our certified excess and deficiency.
Yeah, after we do our balance
I
sheet.
just
And
had a
so-
quick, does that disappear on June 30th and get recertified? Or
So
is
that's
that
at the end of the fiscal year, we do our balance sheets and submit it to Department of Revenue.
And does that
And
roll
they-
over or you just get a
So
brand new
we're-
figure?
What's that?
It's the same as free cash, you
Yeah.
got it certified in the fall.
Yep.
Yep. And then we're giving every cent, of it,
Okay.
as you can see
Put
on,
it back into the,
Yeah.
every
So-
cent is
So
offsetting the
actually,
budget.
July 1, you can't really draw from it.
No, no, it's free,
No, no,
it's
no.
the
We're-
same as free cash, so
Yep.
they're
Right,
certified.
but like, you know how on June 30th, your free cash disappears
Right,
until
so
it gets
should say
certified?
fiscal 27 is your free, should be your E and D for fiscal 27.
Yeah.
So that was our E, so when we did our fiscal 25 balance sheet,
Right, but I think it'll show us fiscal, like, we're in our fiscal 27 free cash. I mean, it's, you're right, it'll say fiscal 26, but we're applying it to 27.
correct, so
Yeah.
that's, so we're
Yeah,
using
right,
all of,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
The
just
last
to show
fiscal
you
year's
that
free
every
cash.
dollar is being used.
Yeah.
every
Oh, I'm
cent, so
sure.
you can
Yeah.
see it's
And
exact to the
so,
penny.
and so I think that's really important as far as identifying that there's, you know, it's a tight budget, it's a lot of money, but if, yeah, I mean, that's what worries me for next year, that E&D will even be lower, which then doesn't help offset the town assessments. And, you know, we want to throw everything at the town assessments to keep them reasonable. Our overall budget increase is 3.74%. Because we're using everything that we can. That's the overall. And I'm gonna go through how we actually spend it. This first,
Just one quick revenue question.
Yep.
Are you folks, the vocational schools, eligible for this rural aid?
Nope.
Okay.
That's another, if we
Oh.
were, we wouldn't have these
I
problems.
know, you wouldn't have any.
We wouldn't have these problems.
Not a penny.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's a shame because.
Yeah, because you
a-
are rural.
You should
Most of
apply.
So
the
what-
towns
brother and
attend, yeah.
sister from the same household, one attends a regional school district and the other attends the vocational school. Well, one gets rural aid and the other doesn't, just for where they chose to go to
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It hurts all of our communities. If we got rural aid, it helps.
It would help
Yeah.
offset
Is
some
it
of this
because of
insurance
Yeah.
problem.
What,
You
the type of education you have, or why is it
They
separated
put a
out?
line in the rural aid and it actually talks about private vocational, correct?
So you
But
consider
not
it
public.
private?
No, we are, no.
No,
No,
it
I was
can't
gonna
be.
say,
It
it's
just
public.
depends on, right now,
You're
the
public.
governor, it's just not, it's
It's
just
just,
not in the,
yeah, I can't comment. It gets into other things.
but there's some other details below, but yes, we don't.
I will just say that
Qualified
it's a
for it.
shame that we don't
So-
receive it to help offset our member
Mm.
towns who do receive it,
Right.
who do qualify.
It would be a huge,
And we have 561 square miles of territory in bus routes, so we're the largest regional geographical school district in the state, and we don't get a penny in rural aid. Can I just end that at that? That's,
And I understand your ranking is what?
when we look at all of the bulk schools in the state, and are we doing what we said we were gonna do, like get our kids off to work? Here's all the bulk schools in the state, and we're number one out of all the vocation schools. So a lot of these bulk schools at the bottom of this list are the ones known for getting their kids off to college. Let's just be honest, that's not what our goal is. Our goal is to get kids off, to live in your communities, to be able to work. That's our goal, so we're being true to our goal. And it frustrates me when I see these other bulk schools that get all the praise around the state and the country, and yet they're not getting the kids out. Just doesn't make any sense.
Can you tell me, since, as you heard, I love a graph.
Yeah.
Which schools in that graph are most comparable to,
Oh, you mean for population or?
like,
For
I
school
guess,
size?
demographic and.
yeah, like, it's just,
A lot of them. Let me say, I would
Like,
have to.
what about Smith,
Smith,
Vogue? How many towns
they're
is that?
not, they didn't register theirs as far as a regional Volk school. This is all
Okay.
regional Volk schools. They're the
Okay.
city schools, so
They're
they're.
city
Okay.
school, yeah.
Northampton.
Okay.
Yeah, so what would be comparable would be Norfolk Aggie, Bristol County Aggie, Bristol Plymouth Tech. Southeastern's the same exact size as us, and they're way down here. Bay Path is very similar to us. Neshoba Tech has got 50 more kids than us. Pathfinder is identical to us. So if you look at, there's a lot of the schools are very similar.
thank you, I appreciate that.
How do we spend our money? Well, we're in the middle of a budget reduction, so we'll have to kind of continue to work that. Our district leadership and administration dropped off a little bit by about negative 3.5%. Our instructional services went down actually, by how much? Went from 8 million.
Well, my
200
original
to
numbers.
8 million, because
We've
this
been
is-
tweaking these numbers
this is
to really,
reflecting
like, as of
potential.
this morning.
This is not potential, this is gonna be budget reductions, but we don't identify who's who yet.
But far
Um,
under.
But
Like
far, so we take,
2%
so
or
we're down
something.
200,000 plus in
So even
our
with
instructional services. We're down, nearly 10,000 in student services, from the previous year. People transportation, we just reviewed that, we're pretty flat there. Plant operations and maintenance, we're down just a tad there, we're pretty flat.
If I can ask another question.
Yep.
The student services, what I was hearing in our previous conversation with the district is sending districts an offset high levels of student services. That, like, if
If there was like
if there's
certain
an excessive
specification
need,
costs and stuff like that.
is that,
In
does
this
your budget
column here-
reflect that?
So what student services is for the purpose of these foundation items is our cafeteria, our athletics, our
School safety.
school safety,
Student activities.
student activities, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
As far as the, what you're
Medical,
referring to would be embedded almost into our instructional services, the line item above that,
Okay.
where we have, special education, 504, we have all of our regular teachers in there as well.
Okay. And so, are there, like, do sending districts send funds, like, when there are special education?
So we have with all school districts, say if you have a tuition of, $19,000, then, and that student requires a special education plan with services attached to it. So that's built into our price, but out of district,
Then
that's a $5,000 or $6,000 increase. So if you're not a member town,
Okay.
you're gonna get charged $6,000 above and beyond your $22,000 or $23,000 tuition that you have to pay. If you're a member town, that's all included,
So-
your transportation and your instruction.
and we're not school choice, so we're not getting the $5,700 or so that the state caps for school choice. So we're
Okay.
getting that additional piece.
Thank you.
So you don't get any money for school choice, or it's tuition?
have school
Or tuition.
tuition, sorry.
Tuition, and then you-
Yep. So we got plant operations and maintenance. I went over that, right? Okay, retirements, we kinda touched on these ones. They just see the 20% there. That's just, there's your increases to the budget.
retirement, we had additional staff, so our retirement contribution to Greenfield Retirement increased this year.
Yeah, so if I highlight that yellow there, that's
Was that $100?
really,
We had a $100,000
Sure.
jump in our Greenfield
that's
retirement
a
bill.
huge increase there.
So things you can't
Yeah,
always
out of
anticipate.
your
Yeah.
control.
You don't have any control at all.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a big
It's
hit.
not just at 10,000, there's 100,000.
We have narratives in here for the general public, so if you click on any one of these line items, and you want insurance active employees, you click it, it doesn't go to it. See, just there you go. I haven't,
But-
well, we're not done with the budget book yet, so there. All right.
Last year's hyperlinks.
Well, last year's
Yeah.
hyperlinks, all right. I thought I had them.
Nothing was going on. Not to
Yeah, exactly. But as far as the insurance active employees, there'll be a paragraph there, and then it will take you to external links that tell you more about that and how it's be able to budget. Same with insurance retirees and all of the other insurance gaps. The next one I have is rental lease equipment.
Could I go, I'm sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Nora.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. You mentioned the health insurance, I didn't have an opportunity to ask. Are you negotiating or in the process of leaving the current, you're part of the Hampshire Regional?
Yes.
Are you going to stay in that for fiscal year '27, or are you looking to join the GIC?
So here's what we're taking a look at. All options are on the table.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
And Liz has been terrific. She sits in on all of the board meetings. She can probably tell you more about that. I'll just let you go before.
Sure.
I-
So
I-
GIC is off the table for the next fiscal year because your intent to participate had to be in by December 1st.
Yeah,
So
that
that
was
is 100% off the table for this year. We thought it was too reactionary to jump to them by 12/1. We didn't have enough information. We didn't know the direction the trust was going. Plus, we're working with numerous consultants as well outside of the trust to either go out to bid on our own, which we actually just did this morning, to see how we stand alone with another firm, in hopes that our claim history is somewhat favorable. We don't have super high claim data, so we're hoping that either a Blue Cross or a Harvard Pilgrim can come in and bid us outside of the trust and not have a super disruption to the district. We want to make sure that networks remain the same and providers are available. So this is really a moving target. There's many meetings. We know what the trust is proposing and recommending for a vote in February. So again, it's going to hit us with potential 16 to 20% increase. We don't want to see that for our district or for our staff. It's kind of twofold how it hits. So there's a lot going on. By the end of February, we should know. And we're working with Maya, we're working, we're just numerous things, but markets aren't going to bid out yet. So the rates, they just weren't willing to touch us until January, February, March because they hadn't set the market rates. Like GIC is voting this week. I'm hearing upwards of 6 to 11% with plan design changes as well. So if we had chosen to go with GIC, our rates with the trust were already really
We're
it's
comparable.
average.
They benchmark their
right.
fees against the GIC.
So we have-
would be another 11% on top of about 20.
And we had like the Cadillac plan with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So to go with GIC, we actually could have ended up spending more money as a district because there's 7 different plan benefits that people can choose from. Some would have cost way more to the district and the employee, and some were a little bit less. So when we started doing those calculations, it really didn't feel like the right move. And we worked with our insurance advisory committee internally, and for now we're staying put until we can find a more favorable.
And Liz has done a
option.
great job working with insurance brokers that have been in our building on numerous occasions. And they are actively trying to bid us out. So we may not end up with the New Hampshire Trust, we could be changing by the springtime. But we are gathering all of that information, because it's not sustainable to continue this.
I was just concerned of the viability of the trust because if you have groups leaving it,
Correct.
and shrinking it, and then you'd be stuck, you know what I mean? If you didn't get into GIC in time, you'd be stuck looking for options besides the trust.
Talking with, because we're part of the collective trust, but when we break out our claims data, it looked favorable, that we could have many other options. So we're hoping someone throws a parachute our way and.
Yeah,
we
they're
can-
out
we can
actively
make that
shopping.
work.
They feel like our profile is gonna be, it will speak for itself, so we may be in a favorable situation. We don't have that data right now.
Thank you for
Yeah,
the.
that's
thank
a
you.
lot of moving
Appreciate
parts,
that.
great question.
Yeah.
Rental lease equipment is $7,800, that's just, the agreement with the Turners Falls Airport for the land lease of the hangar. Capital stabilization, we cut that, there's another yellow. We cut that by, 180,000. We just hope nothing goes wrong.
Especially by
I
getting
mean-
all that free, yeah.
Here's how fragile that is.
Yeah.
We had that, I came to you a month ago,
Yep.
and I told you about that story around the electrical switchgear. It's $150,000 to replace one of those. We have 11 that are right now tagged red. Right? So we have to have that specially made by a company, because Federal Pacific that made the switchgear doesn't exist anymore.
So they refurbish.
So it takes 2 months to do that. If one of those go and we don't have one on standby, we're out of school for 2 months.
Do you have one on standby though?
Yeah.
I
We
thought
do,
you did.
yeah, so when the other
Yeah.
one, it's
Okay.
been a cycle.
Yeah, okay.
One goes
And
out, it
cycle.
goes back
Alright.
in.
So we're gonna continue to do that. So that, we're just gambling, okay, we already replaced a few of them,
When
so.
when we thaw with the snow, there's, it's a,
Knock on wood.
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Then we have the debt service that we explained above, the school choice tuition, I know there was a question around that. We budgeted for 2 students. Now, why, we don't have school choice, so why are you budgeting for 2 students? When we have a town like Orange, and they send some students to Monty Tech for programs we don't have. Monty Tech has school choice. So they actually, we have to pay that school choice tuition, but we get their chapter 70. It's strange.
And
as
you'll
that
see
may
it on the
sound.
cherry sheet, like if you see
Weird.
that figure.
Yeah.
So we don't lose anything.
That's,
Just to
It's
break
just a-
even.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't
So
really
you
lose
see
anything.
the column, it's about a $5,700,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he's speaking to. But there's times where we've had 3 students, so we just don't know right now, so we're budgeting for 2 in hopes that that's.
And the
No crystal
transfer
balls.
to OPEB is from 30,000 down to 10. Now that's an unfunded liability. It's not anything that we're required to do. We may look at that. Our school committee may say, well, for this year, zero that out and put it back into the budget. I'm not sure. Again, we're so early. We are, again, Thursday, the numbers came out. Monday, the insurance numbers came out, and here we are the following Monday. So it's really quick.
So for us, as far as doing that, when will we get the bottom line figures? So we can put it in our.
You're pretty close.
Okay.
You are, I mean, what's not gonna change is your per pupil expenditures for the local stuff. What's not gonna change is the same 58 students, so your assessment's pretty locked in. So as far as for your planning to budget, you can take these numbers. That's not gonna change regardless of what we decide to do with the school committee. As far as you having it in your hand, we have to wait for the school committee to approve that.
So the elephant in the room
Yeah.
is the building.
Yep.
Where are we on and
I think
that?
same way we were last month.
Okay.
Not any,
Yeah, so they're reconciling, they have two companies, cause the estimates come in.
Yeah,
And so they reconcile from two different companies to make sure there's nothing missed and, accurate figures, cause once we're locked into these budgets, that's what's locked in, even though building doesn't start for a couple years
X
to
number of
come,
years.
if the vote is positive.
yeah, so that's,
So
yeah, so
we
we're
should
pretty
have
much in the
those,
same
again,
situation.
February's gonna be,
so we'll know something about that so that we can anticipate 2 years or whenever the
Yeah,
project
that's,
starts.
we should know more at the end of the schematic design phase.
Yeah.
We're just still in that phase and.
we're hoping it's better than what we presented when we were here a month ago.
That's what
The
we're
formula
hearing.
changed with MSBA, so we're hoping to have a better projection, but we'll have more finite numbers.
And that's one of the things about these type of projects, at least for us, you just heard about a little bit snapshot about the electrical switch gear, we didn't talk about the sewage and the roof and all those other kind of things. Just to get us up to code with no funding from the state is $103 million.
With
For
next to no reimbursement.
$20 million more over the course of 30 years, you get a brand new building. That's really there is no zero cost. We're either gonna have to get it up to code, right? Or we're gonna go with the new facility. There's not like a zero cost to
No.
this. Which
I understand that completely, because that's what we went through with Pioneer.
Yeah.
We're gonna pay this amount and revamp everything, or you can do this and add on. The cost per town is gonna be exactly the
It's
same.
$32 million to put a new electrical mechanical system in for just the switchgear.
This is the one that you're worried about
This is,
failing?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yes.
Could you remind me, when would be the first year that we would actually be paying toward the building?
I have my expert.
So,
right
yeah, so it'll
That's
it'll ramp up. I have Northfield's numbers here, but bear with me. I'm sorry, I'm on. So I did have it right on top. So when we start ramping up, it'll be about 2029, 2030. I mean, it's not level funded
29,
bonding, but
okay.
yep,
So, 2 more years.
right.
Okay.
So a small amount potentially in 2020, very small, and then figures start.
Oh yeah, that's the
29, okay.
Yep.
well, the first year it could be
Good, I'll be
$870.
home by
Yeah.
then.
Right.
So,
And for those who probably don't
I'll be
realize, how old is the school?
We're over 50, and it's just a, I think the other hard thing is it's just that old design where the bulk shops at the exact opposite of the hallway, 15 feet away from the academic classrooms. So the kids in math class are smelling collision repair fumes all day, and
Even our main
welding
offices will
fumes
call.
all
Can
day.
landscaping close their doors? We
wait,
can,
and
get
then-
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then when we had that sewage line back up and we couldn't find it, we had to move a whole hallway out to another part of the school until we spent a few days
It went
trying to locate it. Because that's under the ground,
And it's
right?
happened in our in our
So to
food service
replace
areas. I
the
mean,
water
it's
and
really
sewage line
impactful.
underneath us, that's a $10 to $12 million as well. So that's what I'm saying, just getting up to code, there is not a zero fix. Even if we don't get up to code, just fix what we got, it's still gonna cost,
Millions.
Without state
Yeah.
reimbursement.
yeah.
Are you still looking at this fall, going to the towns for the,
Yeah, that's what they're telling us as far as the time frame.
So we have a lot of meetings tomorrow, MSBA related.
Yes. yeah,
So
we got a lot
hopefully
meeting
we'll
tomorrow.
have a lot of updates.
So when you say go into the towns, what are you talking about for?
To get the vote.
voting for the debt?
Potentially,
The
it-
debt for this
Correct.
to start in, okay.
Yeah.
It's looking like an October vote,
Yeah.
but we should know more tomorrow if the timelines
Okay.
align.
Okay.
One question I want to ask you off besides the building is, what is your average COLA going to be for fiscal year '27 for your employees?
3.
3% even?
Yeah.
I don't think
Gotcha.
anyone's.
And how do you arrive at that?
Administrative is a little lower than that,
Okay. And how do you arrive at that?
through collective negotiations.
Okay.
And we actually do it through the interest-based bargaining type of process.
But you evaluate numerous other districts and rates, and he's gets information from all over the place
Yeah.
before we go into negotiations to know what the other steps are and rates are.
Right.
I appreciate all the information you've given us tonight.
Well, thank you.
Will you be, as you go through your meetings and such, will you be updating your website so we can go look and see?
Yeah,
what-
we'll get this all.
Well,
I
once
think-
it-
Usually they send me the link to the
Okay.
book,
Okay.
and then I'll send it to
Okay, yeah, by all means.
Yeah, so we'll have the book up once the school committee votes on it in
Okay.
March. However, up to date, I just want to touch on that, that's a great point, Gail, in regards to the MSBA website. We're having a special MSBA website made on our website. So you're gonna click, it's gonna go to a different website, just for the, give you all the information, much more than what I could say here tonight, regarding the project, all the meeting, all the minutes, everything that's been going on. So we're about 3 weeks away from that, so we're gonna have that up very soon. I think the transparency of that is critically important, to be able to see exactly all the different changes.
Andrea, did that become part of our booklet?
I'm sorry.
Does their booklet get into our book?
No,
You
but
mean?
I
Or
can
parts
put
of
the
it?
link in.
Link in it? Okay.
That'd be great.
So then people can, because we do, all our book is printed, it's also online, so people could then click it.
And
when
link
they
it, yeah.
type
Okay.
So I have a nice and simple question.
Sure.
I just want to verify that my notes are correct. You said you cut 700,000 out of your budget before you started in
Right.
anticipation of these rising insurance
That's
costs.
correct.
Good for you. Then you said that administrative and leadership went down about 35%. Can you elaborate about who that was, what that was, what that looks
Absolutely.
like?
You're looking at her.
Oh.
Yeah,
What,
New
you're
business
working for
manager.
free now?
new business manager from a 28-year veteran.
Yeah, Russ,
So
who
retirement.
you're familiar with from other
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah,
Russ,
yeah.
Say that again?
He was 28
retired,
years.
and he was at that
And he
district
took
for
his
28
position?
years.
So I took his position, yeah.
You
So,
took it and didn't rehire yours, or?
so my position, I was, we had kind of,
less money.
so,
I know.
so
That's a
yeah, so
lot.
I'm making less money as in the new role.
Okay.
And then the person, so I was the assistant business manager to help mentor, and in case they couldn't find a business manager, I would at least have an idea of what was going on. So now that is an accounts payable position, so the salary's a little bit different and the position demands are a little bit different.
Okay, so both of those
Both of
Were
those
reductions,
have
yeah.
are
reductions.
reductions.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
there was no removal of positions or,
We're still
Not-
early,
okay,
Right.
so we don't know.
So-
yeah, because we gotta look at everything
Yeah.
Of course.
to get to those reductions in force.
Okay, but that's the bulk of, that's making up the 35%.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, the other thing is I want to commend you also, the school is showing the interest from Northfield to go up from 50 to 58 students. From a small town like ours, that's a substantial increase and also I think a mark of how valuable you are, that they are looking to attend your school.
well, thank you.
So I think that
Absolutely.
speaks volumes right there.
And just like I said earlier, that's gonna kind of, I think that's our peak.
Yeah.
My guess would be,
Mhm.
until I really look at the numbers, I think that's gonna dip back down, and then it kind of goes, it
We
just,
project
yeah,
enrollment
when we
declines.
project, it's gonna, especially, where we are with, the lottery and that kind of stuff, I think that's gonna kind of smooth out.
I understand that you're taking into consideration the decline in population when you're constructing a new building.
Well, we have this here.
So we went through a
We
whole
have-
study.
I mean, it's funny because our internal mechanisms and our internal studies were very consistent. Am I up?
You're up.
Oh,
You're up.
sorry. We're very consistent with, I'm gonna just get to the face sheet, get down to here real quick. And this will take 2 seconds. I think, no, I didn't, no. Well, I can tell you what I can do. I can go right here and cheat, since all of our links need to be redone. All right, there we go. It's kind of if you get nothing to do at night, this is,
There you
this will put you right to sleep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, so this is gonna be the school attending report, and I'm gonna get that right up here. And it's coming, I know it is. I just saw it. And it is,
Go beyond it, I think.
did I go
I
beyond
think
it?
so.
I think we're past it, baby.
All right, I'm gonna just click this and see if this works. This might do it. DSE enrollment data, this is gonna, yeah, all right. So you click on that link, it's gonna take you to every single town in the entire state. Everybody that's in pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way up. So when we do our projections, we take who's actually in the seats. How many students are actually sitting in these seats, and if you progress it out, how many eighth graders in the entire county? We have those numbers, and our charts reflect those numbers. You know, you'll get updated numbers, so I don't want to show the charts now, they're from the previous year. But this shows you currently who's in every single seat. And so you can do a 10-year projection.
Yeah, because you look at what's in the 8th grade and you say, okay, how many of those are actually?
I can see
You have
what's
a
in the seventh
percentage.
grade.
Is that on the DESI website?
It's on the DESI website, it's under school and district profiles. And so what we do here, we kind of calculate where everyone's coming from, right? And we do this so we can maintain what we're gonna project out. If we're gonna do budget reductions in 5 years, I'm already gonna know that. Because I'm gonna know when these numbers start declining, I can see if we take 20% of the catchment area, then 20% to that total available student population, I'm gonna have a really good idea on the number of seats in our enrollment.
It might be a little bit harder because if you had siblings, they had a little bit of you could say, okay, you get a sister that wants to come. So that is out the window now.
Right, but you're gonna get pretty close, like we've been doing this, and when the MSBA did their numbers, and then we did ours internal,
You're probably better.
yeah, there was really.
So you
Go ahead.
depended on the numbers you generated, not the MSBA's numbers that they generated.
No,
Their numbers
well,
were
yeah.
Their numbers were just like
declining,
ours.
so theirs.
So they were
mirror-
similar to
They
your
were-
projections?
They were similar, but I always need to know who's actually in the seats, because that can change from year to year. So what's in 7th grade, people move up. Then I see who's in 8th grade. Okay, now we can project the total number in the county of the catchment area. So we constantly look at the school attendant children report, so that we can get an idea that our data it's just a project, it's a budget
Yeah.
projection. Because if we see a cliff coming, well, let's not wait for the cliff. Let's slowly make reductions before we get to the cliff.
And you
Or if we
know-
see an
yeah.
increase coming, we do the same thing.
Did the MSBA, did they look at 10 years in the future and see a population increase available to your school or not?
We saw a decline, right, in what potential
That's
enrollment would be.
that's why they're building for a decline.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's what I
so-
was saying, the difference between what
That's
the
another
IRS is
thing.
claiming.
We're the
Yeah.
only MSBA project that we know
I've never
of,
seen
and the
MSBA.
only boat school
200
that's
students.
actually building a new facility for less than the current population we currently have.
Bea, did you have something?
I just wanted to confirm, I know that you said we have 58 you have 58 Northfield students as of October 2025.
Yep.
And then, if I remember correctly, it's 12 that are graduating this year?
I don't know.
Oh,
You might be,
I
because we
would
might have
say-
shared that information
Oh, you
at
shared
our.
that before, I went
Yeah,
back and looked at.
then I'll trust those numbers, so you'll be down to 56 the
That's
following year,
12
something like that, yeah.
Pioneer,
So
I mean
for
12
FY
Franklin,
27,
Northfield.
But then you have potentially 8
Well, we
to
only have,
10
what, 7?
I told
applications, and you
my
had
granddaughter
already
who
saw
wants to
us
go back to
last.
Pioneer.
You said you already had 8 confirmed applications.
Yeah, so now we have
That's what it
11
was.
confirmed.
Oh,
But they're only gonna take
Yeah.
But our quotas, our
Yeah.
lottery.
Yeah,
quota.
well,
but depending on the lottery, could you take 11?
It depends on other towns,
Right, and it's the whole
unverified,
thing.
yeah,
There's
we could,
vacancies.
it could, it depends on the other towns.
And when was, so is that another thing you'll know more about at the end of February?
Yes, we-
Or-
Yes, yes.
It's gonna be, stay tuned.
a magical month.
Invite us back, we'll come back, maybe,
Hey, you guys are great, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No, thank you. You're very illuminating.
Everybody all set? Any more questions for them?
None at this time.
Okay, thank
Over
you.
here, if you, thank you guys.
Thanks again.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
have a good night.
You too now.
Okay. Misha? You got a reserve fund request here?
Sorry for,
I'm just learning all sorts of things.
More than you wanted to know, right?
Thank you.
Okay.
I told him I was gonna just get it up.
Shuffling papers to look busy.
Very important.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
And I know you have a reserve fund request, and I believe what it's for the door for the Northfield, where the Northfield Food Pantry is.
Is it 2 doors or 1 door?
It's one door.
Okay.
So it's the, yes, it's the back door to the library's basement, which is also the food pantry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a gigantic door from 1897 that was on my mind for the next few years, but it's falling apart more dramatically than we expected. So,
The question I have,
yes.
would it be better for a more utilitarian type of door to be there, as something more rugged to be there?
More insulation capable too.
Well,
yeah.
is it a custom unit? Is that one of the issues?
It is absolutely a custom unit.
Okay.
It's hard to explain how big this door is.
No, it's probably 40 inches or better. Is it 4 feet wide or so? I look at it as far as doing it. I see it here.
42 inches wide, 84 inches high.
What's in the quote?
I just glue a couple doors together.
So it's custom. Both quotes are to also make the door look like it does now. It's our door from the beginning of the library building. So yes, we did the quotes to make it look historic.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the historic part of the building.
Have any of the windows been changed in the library? Just curious. Because if they have, you might have lost your historic significance.
They have not been changed. We have storm windows, but we have not changed them.
That usually means you've got original windows.
Yeah, we have original windows. They're covered up by storms, but they're original. Yeah.
Is there any current pest problem with the store in its current state? I know that's where
Can't
there's
get through.
food.
I don't want to talk much about the food pantry and their
Okay.
pest problems.
You're just looking for the door, okay.
There's some critters in the library.
Okay.
I'll say in the library.
In the library?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's an old building.
I sent pictures. There's a gap at the top, and then there's also gaps forming between the panels of the door. But the whole building's made of stone. We have an old stone foundation.
Yeah.
There's critters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how long would this take to make a custom door? What are they looking at lead time for this?
I'm not sure. So I think what did Renaissance say? I think we're hoping to get it done in the next few months, but I don't
This
know if
is
they
an
gave an exact date.
unforeseen problem that has come up. Just it's unforeseen, correct?
It has been something that's on my mind, but it's
unforeseen,
not. Yes,
correct?
that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
being
not functioning
wood and
properly.
original with the building, obviously. That's
Yeah.
surprised it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
that.
The rate of
Deterioration.
yes, thank you, deterioration.
And that
is
area is
faster.
heavily
Yes.
used, yeah.
Yeah, so that made a big difference
Yeah.
for 115 years. It was barely used,
Right.
and now the food pantry uses it at least
And
once
I
a
know
week.
they're in there
Yeah.
every other Saturday, and I know they
and they
move
get
food in and
deliveries
out.
through that
Yeah.
back door. So
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing we have to say, that the residents or taxpayers are aware of, that this is a custom door. This is, the need for historical replacement, because it's a historic building. And because people are gonna say, oh, just throw in a $500 door from Home Depot, we have to, tell them that this is not a standard residential door. This is for a, like I
Right.
said, a municipal building. has to be custom made, you wanna be historically accurate, it's gonna be wood. And
it'll be
that,
wood.
and you, and again, hopefully get as much of a long life out of this replacement as you did the original.
Get another 125 years out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that,
that's a
The
long
other
time
thing
for a
that
door.
the quote involves is there's a transom above the door that is not insulated at all, and so part of the work from Renaissance is to add a storm to the transom to help with energy efficiency. Our
Yeah.
furnace, if you walk in that door, the furnace is right there.
Yeah, so it would help with energy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Driving, hopefully drive that cost down a little
Which
bit.
the rest of our little, our little basement windows around the building do have storms on them. This one does not, so that will be adding the storm to it as well.
Andrea, how much do we currently have in the reserve fund right now,
I
is it
think we got
today?
it all priced
Yeah,
back.
I think it's all
$55?
Yeah.
55.
55.
55?
Yeah, we had it put back the last.
Yeah, I just wanted to know exactly so that we can, make
Yeah.
a good decision on those, or,
I appreciate you asking that.
Because the door is 42 inches wide, 84 inches high,
I think
and
even if you went
2
to Home
and 3
Depot,
inches
you
thick.
have to have something that
2
custom
and a
made.
quarter.
it's probably
That's,
oak
that's
too,
not
probably.
84 inches high.
I have to assume that age, it's probably oak,
Oh,
probably.
well, no, well, they were gonna make it out of African mahogany.
That's pretty solid.
That was vintage door, right?
Yeah,
Yes, it's mahogany.
That's the one,
From the vintage
yes.
stores.
yeah.
Misha,
Using mahogany,
because
that's,
you had such a thorough
You have to do.
paperwork when you came for HVAC
Yeah.
updates, I'm curious to know if you noticed in your travelings any opportunities for grants, for reimbursements, or historical preservation, somethings that could be used to backfill
For
a
the,
door.
so it would be a perfect CPC grant. But I had already used,
The only
I
problem-
already had a plan for that.
The only problem with
For
that,
the HVAC.
Yeah.
would they consider that maintenance?
They might consider, everything's like in this gray area with the library, what's maintenance and what's historic preservation.
Correct.
I mean, it's an exterior door, we need exterior
The
door.
field library got a door from CPC.
They got their doors, they did get a whole new door, and then we got our front doors refinished, maybe 10 years ago or something. So
I
it
know
could,
you've had, yeah.
it could work for CPC, and I did consider that. I don't think it's gonna last a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You could probably
it's under-
pass their deadlines
Again,
too.
it's something that's unforeseen
Yeah.
that we would
It needs to
deal
be.
to
You have
look
to get
at.
through till
Yeah.
at least May, if you're gonna do CPC.
Well, the CPC, this year's CPC that gets voted on in town
In
meeting
May, yeah.
in May, that deadline's already passed, and I put in a application
Request
for the
yeah.
HVAC. I think about my CPCs like years in advance. So I would have to wait till, the door wouldn't get put in until summer 2027 if I did CPC. So,
And again, it's their
And you're-
gray area
yeah.
with them as far as that, because they don't like to have money for maintenance. And if
they
this
don't
is-
want to do maintenance.
That's
and,
correct.
And yeah, this leans, because
kinda
it's
like
an
a-
exterior door and like integral to, the functioning of the
It's a
building.
gray area with that, so.
I feel like it's more, and that is also why, I'm asking for the reserve funds. We get state aid that I can use also on historic preservation, but it's an exterior door. It's necessary.
It is a community
It's not a
function,
bonus.
that
We need a
area.
door.
It is. It's, okay.
So replacing the door, are you gonna reuse the hardware or get brand new hardware? I assume brand new with a brand new door.
The brand. So I also sent a picture of the current hardware.
Hardware, which is not very, did you see the hardware? It's not really hardware.
Yeah.
No, that's-
it's-
And that's
That's
the
just basic.
hardware.
so there is a
That's not new, this is, yeah,
This
it's
is-
basic.
there is an
crap.
antique doorknob.
Yeah.
That doesn't lock.
No, I assume if
Yeah.
you're gonna put a
It's
new
all
door,
gonna
you
be-
might as
Yeah, you
well
gotta
put in
have
new
the-
hardware.
With like proper secure locks and
Yeah.
deadbolts and.
Oh, yeah.
I think let's do it properly. if we're gonna do
Yeah.
it.
I will keep the antique doorknob like on my desk or something.
It's paperweight.
Paperweight, there you go.
But
Bookends, it writes itself.
yes,
Sorry.
but yes, we will upgrade the lock from like we just have that little latch that you put on like an interior door at your house. So yeah, it's also a safety issue.
It's a safety and
Yeah,
security issue.
it's-
Yeah.
And if someone can get in this door, they're in the library. There's no additional lock between everything in the library and this door. So
The door hardware is included in this quote here.
yes, yes, and the proper modern, it'll be a pretty antique brass, but it'll function.
Do you have to go also for approval from the Historic Commission?
I don't think so.
Just asking. I don't want to have the monkey wrench thrown in down the road.
Well, we have a historical commission member who sits on the finance committee and on the CPC, so.
Yes, there is.
All right, that
Are
answers
we-
that question.
So,
Are we ready to make a motion to transfer from our reserve fund $11,000 to the 01-610-5540-0000 for Memorial Library repair and maintenance? Anyone want to make a motion? Oh, I just made the motion.
You just made
you just made the motion.
Just
Did
I second the motion.
Okay.
you have the amount in there, though?
I said, yeah, amount
Yes.
requested 11,000.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I seconded Bernie Parada.
Okay,
Ready for the vote.
any discussion? Any more questions? Okay, are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, want to start?
Bernie Parada says yay.
Morgan O'Brien, yay.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes.
Robin Vandermeer, yes.
Gail Weiss, yes.
Dan Campbell, yes.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Thank you for
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting so
staying
long.
up late.
Thank you.
It's fine. It's fine. I hope you guys are almost
Yeah,
done.
but I have to be very brief, so
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right, thank you.
Just
all.
remind us when the ribbon cutting ceremony will be for the door.
Yeah.
I'll try to plan my expensive repairs better.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Misha.
Where's mine?
That's yours to sign.
Yeah,
right?
I
You
signed
need a
it, I
copy
just
to
need to
sign?
get it down too.
It doesn't matter what copy.
You want just
Where's my
the,
agenda?
Ultimately, yeah.
Of course I would lose my
To give it to the
Okay. Okay,
accountant.
town administrator update.
Just quickly, I just want to let you know you got the new calendar in your stuff
Yep.
that shows
Yep.
transfer station coming to the next meeting as well as the town hall general. So we can move those two, Board of Health Transfer Station stayed in there, and then the public safety based on all the various things going on gets moved to the 23rd of February.
Okay, and I believe next time we're going to be discussing the highway.
Highway, transfer station, sewer.
Okay.
And then
Board of Health.
sort of general, Board of Health sewers kind of,
Okay,
but they didn't
You
really
said
ask for
Board of
much
Health wasn't-
changes.
okay.
They didn't ask for anything. So it's
Okay.
really on the transfer station, although they're kind of
okay,
linked.
yeah,
And then town hall general, which will be me bringing you,
okay.
the health insurance. Yeah, it never gets, it's not gonna
And
get
that's
better.
next Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so that will be,
Yeah, I'll send you guys
on the
the,
9th,
I
right.
started working on it, I'll send it to you, then
Yeah,
I'll
so-
post it.
That should take care of that, and then we'll move the, public safety to the 23rd, and we'll line them up
Okay,
again.
okay.
Wait a minute.
Like as soon as you
They've
want, I
all-
gotta get the agenda.
They've all said yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we should be good. And then the last thing I sent you was an update to the capital request sheet. And because I have an HVAC heating improvement quote finally, I think I included that. I have to take a picture at home, so it's a weird looking thing, but you got a quote from our
Oh, yes.
HVAC person. As you can know, we have no heat in this room. So every time there's a meeting, we fire this baby up all day. So the electric bill's gonna be a joy. But it heats the room, and then we shut it off for the meeting, and then we all try to get out fast. So what this includes is, it's actually 5 sets of lines, because it's this whole side of the building that's out. 5 heads are out because of the leaks in the lines. However, all the other rooms have heat from the radiators from the furnaces from the pellet stove and the furnace. So they don't need the mini splits in the winter. Mini splits are generally best for cooling anyway. This mini split was put in, but they didn't think to put in any heat in this room other than a mini split, which, as we can all tell from the last week or so, was never going to be a good idea in this climate, to try to heat with a mini split. So this quote includes running baseboard heat to this room, so that in the future, we won't have that issue. If the mini split goes out or doesn't go out, we will be heating this room, and it's also going to run heat to the room, the planning board meeting, planning, whatever. They also have the same problem. Only a mini split, no other source of heat. We need the redundancy. As you know, we're living proof of that right now.
There's your room has it, right?
Yeah, but I'm
radiator.
not, my heat is on.
How about
So all the
next
heat,
door?
all the heat is on, so any office who has heat, baseboard heat or radiator is fine, even if their mini split isn't working.
So Board of Health?
The
They
Board of
have-
Health is fine, they all have heat, because even without the mini
Are they going
splits,
to run a new line?
the
or
only
run it
two
off of-
offices that have no heat other than a mini split are this meeting room and the planning room next door, the one over there. They have no other source of heating or cooling, just the two mini splits. So their mini split works, so we've been able to do a little bit of heating over there if they need to work in there. It's not an everyday office, so we only have to heat it periodically when she's in there. This room is working almost every day. There's meetings happening every day or 2 days, so we're heating this room every day so that people can have meetings in here. But the downstairs, although their HVAC isn't working, they've all got heat because they've all got access to the furnace.
Yeah, there you go.
So really, this is the only room that has a real big problem, and I think that we should take advantage of the fact that we need to run heat up in these two rooms. I think it would be pouring money back into the mini splits, and then if it doesn't work or something happens, lines go out, and here we are again.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's running the lines and putting in the heat, baseboard heat. It's not actually a huge project in the scope of things, but it should really be done.
Is the boiler big enough to be able to do that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
boiler.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's baseboard hot water, I assume, right?
It'll be what the rest of the building's getting.
Baseboard hot water, okay.
So it'll be the same thing. It'll be fired by whatever system's running. Right now, we're using the pellet. If the pellet goes out, we actually have 3 redundants because we have the pellet and then we have a backup furnace with oil.
Gotcha.
So for most of the rest of the building, if something were to happen to either one, and we've had the pellet stove out, but you've still got the furnace, so the rest of the building's heated. But just these 2 rooms have no other source of heat. So anyway, so there's the request. I bumped it up with a contingency because obviously the quote's for today, and we wouldn't be doing this until after May. So you can anticipate the costs will be probably slightly higher, but not too bad, I hope. But I just wanted to know that I put that on there. We're also taking out the request for the mower or blower. I'm actually gonna put it in the maintenance budget, as a $1,500 increase. We'll see, we're having quite a number of maintenance issues right now. So we can decide if we wanna make that $1,500 a permanent increase, but, at this time, it made sense to move it into there because for example, they went to do the snow blower, didn't work. So Tammy and Michael shoveled everything because there's no snow blower. So things aren't getting taken in time. So that should be serviced every year, started every month, just to get it.
Yeah.
Same with the lawnmower. We always go in the spring, it doesn't work, it needs to be serviced, needs to be run. So those kinds of maintenance things haven't, and we have other equipment that haven't been run regularly. So that's why I figure if we put this money in there, we can now service these things, because it's a lot cheaper to put $1,000 in the maintenance budget than it is to buy a new snow blower every year. So, so that's what we're going with now, with trying to do regular maintenance, getting everything tested, and the generator's the same. It hadn't actually been serviced for a couple of years, but they've been out now. They've checked it, they've run it. Now it's reset to start itself
I
up.
thought they ran that once every
It
month.
has an auto, but it hadn't been doing it for a little while because it hadn't been serviced and reset. And so it is now, it's all set. So Michael's got all the contacts with all of our service people, so everything is now on service, so, yeah.
I think just because of some of our aging buildings, that maybe we should consider doing a stabilization funds for just building, not maintenance, because it's above and beyond maintenance sometimes. And
Well,
just-
our
and-
goal is to, once we have some good data, which we're starting to collect now with work orders and the work we're doing, is to create a capital plan for the town buildings. And once we have the capital plan, the next step is, how do we fund it? And then you can look at, do we put in do we just use the capital stabilization account and put money in for that as capital? Do you create a separate one? Like, that's a discussion that'll happen, I think, once we can see the capital plan and see the projects and see what kind of funding that we should be putting aside. So that's the next phase of it, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to explain why that's in there, and the mower blower has actually been removed. It hasn't disappeared, it's actually moved into the budget. I didn't want anyone to think I was hiding anything, but it made more sense to put it there right now because we're using up the maintenance budget, trying to get things where they should be on regular maintenance. So,
Okay.
for further discussion, we can talk about it at the next meeting if you
Right, I
want,
think I've
under
got-
general. But just that's.
I did building maintenance for our discussion
Right.
for next time around.
Right. But I just wanted you to know it's in there,
Okay.
so you have the quote.
Okay,
That's it for me.
okay. Briefings on meetings attended by others? Nope.
There was a CPC meeting where we had two applicants this year, only two. Both of them were discussed and approved that they met the criteria. One is to provide, in the spirit of America's 250th birthday, provide a little more informational markers for the veterans who are in Center Cemetery, who fought in the Revolutionary War.
Oh, wow.
And that was approved. And the other one was, as Misha mentioned, it was for a mini split for the library as part of their HVAC,
The history room
for the history room.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
for preservation, yeah.
Yeah, for
Okay,
preservation. So
that was what Misha was talking about, okay.
Yeah.
Any other meetings by anybody? Oh, okay. Public comment from anybody? Okay. I didn't see any correspondence. I think I left a couple papers around. They threw them back in the box, but. And then anything that wasn't anticipated within 48 hours? And that's next meeting, which is next Monday, and it's highway night, basically. Highway and transfer station. Okay.
Highway,
and-
transfer station, sewer, and town hall.
Okay. And we're motion to adjourn. Go ahead.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay.
Okay, let's have the vote.
Okay.
I, Bernie Parada, say yes.
Dan Campbell says yes. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
okay.
Cut you off.
Right, Morgan
We'll go
O'Brien,
the other
yes.
Lindsay McCarthy, yes?
Robin Vandermeer, yes.
Gail Weiss, yes. It is 8:30.
You don't have a meeting the 16th, right? That's.